The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
It's Thursday. The day you used to get a jump on the weekend and start drinking. But now you drink every day. That's why we're reminding you, it's Thursday.
I don't want to wake up.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Thursday morning.
It is time for another show.
Are we good? We live?
Showtime.
What's the show called here? The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Thank you so very much for dialing us in. Josh, I hate to be the one to tell you this.
Bad news from the get-go?
Little bit. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but we again didn't cut the mustard. Radio personality didn't make the list of the sexiest occupations.
You know, I guess I can't say I'm surprised.
Is this a sexy job? You tell me.
Only because it's never made the list, and it shouldn't make the list. And if it ever makes a list, I know I'm being punked.
It should never make the list, he says. I like that. Yeah, you've been... You were let behind the curtain a long time ago. They let Cubby back behind the curtain decades ago, and he saw the truth.
It's the opposite of sexy.
It is the opposite.
Very unglamorous.
A lot of radio personalities you'll see, they post on social media their baby photos because that's where they peaked. Not a lot of, to use today's parlance, not a lot of glow-ups in radio.
Or they use their high school graduation photo.
Right.
Glow up. Is that a new word you're learning from the young people?
No, that's an old one. I just learned glow down, though. I hadn't heard that before. The two I've learned recently, glow down. I'm sure that's been around for a while. But the other one is Riz. You got that, Riz. Everybody here have some Riz?
Man, I don't even
No.
I don't even want to. I'm trying to venture a guess if having a Riz is good or bad.
It's a good thing.
No, it is.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Then
So actually,
I got all the Riz.
charisma.
Oh,
You got that Riz, man.
All right, that sounds familiar. I think you dumped that on us before. But let's go back to what does it mean to glow up or glow down?
Well, the glow up would mean maybe you were a wallflower and now you're a stud. You're gorgeous.
Gotcha. And a glow down, obviously, is when you were a young person, you were slinging heat, and now you're a garbage bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, all right.
Glow up is like puberty helped you out. Glow down is high school was the best 4 years of your life.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
like
right.
there was I had a small class in high school, 150 kids at our peak, and we had 4 sets of twins. There's one particular set of twins, good-looking guys, like really good-looking guys. At our 10-year reunion, it looks like those twins, they kind of merged together. They kind of melted together. And they lost their looks within 10 years. That was a glow down. To the point where people didn't even recognize them. They doubled in size, looks went away. It was shocking. That's the first glow down I've ever seen in person.
Sure.
And our football coach had told me, he said, wait till your 5 or 10 year reunion. If you're not happy with your looks, like what usually happens is the people that are studs right now aren't so much at 10 years and vice versa. A lot of people look a lot different.
I want to know how in the hell you got in a conversation with the football coach.
Oh, I was kicked out of the locker room for peeking again.
Sure, yeah, okay.
And as he was walking me out by the nape of my neck, we had this conversation.
Just gave you a little life advice.
He's like, hey, things could get better for you, kid.
Radio personality did not make the list of the sexiest occupations. I already got a text here from a listener on our text machine, 651-989-9393. This listener says, the Fly Honeys all love forklift drivers.
Oh, heck yeah. We know this. I know this.
So this report was put together by the folks at lovehoney.com. I know I've heard that name before. They make dildos and such.
Yep.
At least they sell them, correct?
Lingerie and all that.
They make or sell or both.
A lot of the girls, actually, when we were at Rick's Cabaret for Toys for Tatas, I asked, of course, I was asking the strippers where they got their lingerie. And they said the majority of them got it at Love Honey. So
That's crazy.
I believe we've run ads for them from time to time.
That sounds right.
The football coach at Josh's high school told him about how the strippers are all buying their lingerie at Love Honey. Love Honey conducted several surveys asking men's and asking women's which occupations they consider the most sexually attractive.
It's all stuff that you'd expect, right? It's all, for the most part, it's things I wanted to be as a kid.
It pretty much is. It pretty much is. Yes, you're right, Josh. All things that you'd expect. Although the article here in front of me says some of the results may surprise you. Maybe that's just a ploy to get me to keep reading. I don't. You tell me. The top 10 sexiest professions, according to women, are as such in no particular order. Firefighter. You ladies have watched too many movies. I've said this for years. Let me introduce you ladies to some of the firefighters that I know. They are disgusting slobs.
Yeah, they're not Kurt Russell for Backdraft.
I don't know, the St. Paul Fire Department. Is that the ones that text us sometimes, Josh? I can't remember who it was that sent us a picture of them, and I got to drool over them.
The firefighters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
those ones are gorgeous.
I'm just talking about the ones that I know personally.
Yeah, if you go to the state fair, you're going to see the best of the best as far as aesthetics. Those St. Paul firefighters, they walk around. They got their shirts off. Yeah. They're signing autographs on their calendars.
That's right, Dad. They're the ones that do the calendar.
Builder is next. Builder. Ladies think that that's a sexually attractive occupation. You're doing things with your hands. You're rolling up. I'm building something up. You know what a joist is? You guys know what that is?
Did you say a joist?
Joist, whatever it is.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's one of the
I'm going to say,
other.
you don't know what a joist is.
No, I don't. That's my point. That's my point. I remember once when I had a guy in the house looking to do some repairs, and he's like, which way does the joist run? And I said, I didn't understand a word out of your mouth, son, but I like your spirit, I told him. And then he explained to me what a joist police officer is considered sexy.
Bougie butthole Jesus checked in with a couple of fingers crossed emojis saying, come on, coffee delivery man. Come on, coffee delivery man.
I need this today.
Coffee delivery man. I don't see it here, bruh. Doctor. Mechanic is how you say it. Mechanic.
Man.
I wish I was a mechanic.
Me too. I wish I knew how to fix stuff.
Yep.
Or even just I love vehicles, but I don't understand how they work.
I wish I was a mechanic. Paramedic.
Yeah.
If there was one on the list that possibly surprised me a little bit, maybe it would be this one, paramedic.
Out there saving lives.
Paramedic Jesus looks a lot like Joe Mauer. I bet there's women who are begging for mouth-to-mouth when he shows up.
Musician, of course. Get yourself a guitar, and you'll catch the attention of somebody or another. Someone's going to find you sexy. Look at some of the donkey-ass musicians out there. They're getting some.
They are.
What the hell? How did this happen? Electrician?
I don't know. I would say one of my best friends is an electrician, and he does not deserve to be on this list. He employs 7 people. None of them should be on that list.
Yeah, okay, there's one. There's one that I guess I'll go ahead and say is surprising. I know some electricians. Farmer?
Huh.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish I was a farmer.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, totally.
I was just thinking that yesterday. I was watching the latest episode of the Family Stallone on Paramount Plus, Sylvester Stallone's reality show. They're out there. He's got looks like almost a horse ranch. He visited Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold lives like on a farm somewhere too. Looked pretty cool.
I wish I was a farmer. I mean, look, my dad was 12 years old. He left home to work on a farm. 12! He was breaking horses.
That's cool.
He was riding bulls, driving tractors. When I was 12, I was whacking myself off to the Sears catalog. You know what I mean? My dad was a man when he was 12. Bye, Mom and Dad. I wish I could have led his life. And finally, on the list of sexy professions according to women's lawyer, shady bastards.
Yeah.
But it's just the suit thing.
Which one of those, Ashley, do you find the sexiest? Firefighter, builder, police officer, doctor, mechanic, paramedic, musician, electrician, farmer, lawyer?
Doctor.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely.
Why's that?
They got money. Like a lot of it.
That's all it is money?
Yeah, I mean, that helps. I mean, the rest are just, it's
They're
all kind of
learned.
even keel, but that kind of pushes them over the top. Yeah, and they're really smart. They make me feel better. They could probably make me feel better.
Yeah,
like all the time.
You actually would benefit from having a relationship. You kind of have a relationship with a lot of the local doctors. You got the punch card for the ER. You're going to get a free visit one of these days.
I wish.
Now, we move on to the top 10 sexiest professions according to dudes. Let me look here real quick to see if any of them surprise me. We'll see. I don't think so. Flight attendant. Mm-hmm. What has it always been about that gig? Why do we dig flight attendants?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody have an answer? Is it just
The outfit, maybe the old school outfit.
Yeah.
the fact that they're constantly trying to please us?
And it kind of seemed like back in the day they'd only hire models to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, back in the day there were some babes. All right, flight attendant. Nurse.
I mean, when you read this list, you can think of ordering all these outfits on lovehoney.com.
Yeah, you can.
Totally.
Maybe that was the setup here.
I think
Colin.
that's how they came up with
You
it.
think this was a scam?
No, well, I think that I'm sure they're hoping people go to their website, but I'm assuming that's how they judge some of this.
Oh, this next one makes me think of that flippin' movie with that guy and that gal. Secretary.
I didn't see that, but is that the one where on the cover she's on all fours under a
I
desk?
love that
Yes.
movie. I love that movie. And I will always love that. Teacher.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Teacher, stop that screaming.
That surprises me.
Does it really?
Yeah, I look at them as like, I don't know, like very like gentle, wholesome, like not really sexy people. Just like kind of like maybe cutie pies, but that's about it.
Yeah, but they can be wild, Ashley.
Yeah.
Wild.
Naughty
That's the
teacher.
thing. Wait a minute. You're not supposed to be like this.
They whack me across the face with that ruler and tell me to do what they say. Actor. These are the jobs that we dudes find sexy. Actor.
Adult.
Yeah, see, for me,
we got one of those coming in today.
Yeah, that's right.
For me, as soon as I was looking this over, what professions men find sexy, I immediately went to straight up sexual gigs. Adult video actress, like our guest later on today, Jordan Maxx, stripper. I don't know what this says about me, but that's. I went to the obvious ones. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a big dumb animal. We dudes find police officers sexy. I don't. And maybe there's one simple answer behind that, because I don't like the idea that she could just up and kick my ass whenever she wanted me to. Or, pardon me, whenever she wanted to. Doctor. Bartender.
Yeah.
That one wouldn't have come to mind, but it makes sense.
I thought of that one.
Man, I've fallen in love with some bartenders over the years. By God, I have.
That is probably the most I've ever been flirted with in my whole entire life is when I'm bartending.
Oh, is it just constant?
It's like one of those, I think it's just a different, like they don't really think of it as real life. Like, oh, it's just bartender. Like she lives here. She's just here when I see her.
Not an actual person.
Yeah, I think it's one of those vibes.
I once was very, very drunk and asked a lady bartender to go out with me. This is when I was a young man. And she said yes, actually, and I wrote her name on a napkin. I mean, is this like straight out of a stupid movie or what? I wrote her name on a napkin. But I was so drunk, I believe her name was Lisa. And I was so drunk, I spelled her first name, Lisa, with 2 L's.
Oh.
Okay?
One more than normal.
Right. So then
Llama.
I had that in my pocket, and the next day I'm out drinking with some buddies, and I pulled this napkin out of my pocket, and I said, "Hey, you know that bartender last night? She agreed to go out with." And my buddies looked at the napkin, and that I spelled Lisa with 2 L's. So then, for about 6 months straight, my buddies kept breaking my balls, saying, "Did you ever go out with La Lisa? Are you ever going to call La Lisa?" I never did.
Can I give you guys a lame claim to fame?
Yeah, go ahead.
Always.
Do you remember do you remember? I purchased actually, I can't remember if I bought it or I was gifted a couch from our old producer, Ross,
Oh,
right?
gross, yeah.
And he gave that. And so we ended up giving it to a gentleman who I just found out is in this year's St. Paul firefighter calendar.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
He's on the same couch that Ross once masturbated on.
Yeah, masturbated with.
I'm sorry I said once. Probably many times. And now he's a sex symbol in a calendar.
As soon as you said Ross's couch, Ashley says gross.
Oh, you should have seen the look on her face.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What kind of a mental game was that? And maybe some folks are listening, they have no idea who we're talking about. This is our former producer, and
gosh, it has been 3 years.
He was a he just masturbated all the time. He was a gross dude.
He was a pervert.
So what kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Was there a lot of anxiety in the first time you rested yourself on a couch that once belonged to a prolific masturbating animal?
I would say yes. I loved the guy, so I would put up with a little bit of miscreant mist that he might have put on there, but I can't say I was totally grossed out. Obviously, I bought the couch from him.
Did you get one of those couch covers at least, or you just go for it?
No, I licked it clean, baby.
Buddy.
That'd be tough for me to sit down or lay down on that thing for the very first time. Okay, let me wrap up
It's
again.
the crunchiest couch I've ever had.
Let me wrap this up. The other occupations that men find sexy: maid.
Yeah, of course.
That's
They still have those services, those naked lady maid services.
They do. I'm surprised they still have those.
I don't know. Do they?
I guess I'm assuming.
It seems like a different. Well, you just blue-balled me, man.
Yeah, sorry. I'll find you one. I'll send you one to your house this afternoon, Josh.
Many
and if
years
I can't
ago.
find one, I'll come do it. I'll be there naked maid.
Many years ago, we had some topless maids come in studio to talk about their jobs, to talk about their day-to-day activities, and we slowly but surely came to the conclusion or the realization that these were straight-up prostitutes, didn't we, Josh?
Yeah, well, we vetted them ahead of time, and then the more information the owner revealed, we thought, well, we better get going here. It doesn't sound right.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying we had a completely different idea of how things played out in the topless maid world. Finally, here are the jobs that we dudes find sexy: a singer. Sure.
Yeah, that is pretty sexy.
On the flip side, being a judge ranked as the least sexy profession for both men and women.
That surprises me. I could see that being on the sexy list. What's under that robe? All that power?
Mm-hmm.
Judge Judy, though? I would think Judge Judy.
I would.
And I'm like, it's not really that sexy.
Is
What?
it
You wouldn't have sex if Judge Judy came up to you and was like, hey, come back to my chambers. Use the gavel on me.
Yeah.
No,
I never saw the show.
out.
She was not a sexy lady.
Well, she's not what you'd call traditionally attractive, but really there's nothing.
No, and then,
And she'd shame you.
oh, that's
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
why too. I'd be so scared.
She'd make you feel awful about yourself.
You
call that a penis?
The verdict would be that is not a penis. All right, the rest of how do I say this? The rest of the 5 least sexy jobs are coffee delivery man.
They made a special list for that one.
Yeah.
Web developers, marketing executives, whatever that means, designers, whatever that means, and I'm very happy and appreciative that this made the list. Politician.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's a turn off for sure.
How was your day? I don't want to hear about it. Please don't tell me.
The sexy and least sexy occupations, Spy Dam. don't get me wrong. Some folks have really interesting jobs. We've learned that over the years here on the program through text messages from our listeners. Really, we've been fascinated, haven't we, Josh, hearing about what our listeners do for a living.
I love it. I mean, I've mentioned it many times. I absolutely love learning about people's day-to-day, kind of what they do every day.
It's fun.
And there's jobs you just didn't know existed. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. It's fun hearing about some of yous and what you do every day at work. But at the same time, I can say that what someone does for a living means very little to me. I don't care if you clean toilets or you're the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar this or that. So many people have the idea that what you do for a living defines you.
Well, I think that's part of what's fascinating about learning people's jobs is because you're not ranking it necessarily. You're interested in their life, no matter what they do. Just them as a person, kind of what it looks for them every day. But I'm with you on that one. I'm not like celebrities and stuff like that. It's nothing. Doesn't really mean much, I don't think, because somebody can be a douchebag or not a douchebag.
I know folks
That's the important part.
Absolutely, you're right. I know folks who intentionally try to befriend someone who has a high-paying job or a high-profile job. I've watched it happen in person. It's just disgusting.
That's gross.
What's the point? I mean, did they think they're somehow going to get a windfall or like, hey, by proxy, I'm successful because I have a friend who has all this money?
I've seen a good question. I've seen different examples. One in particular, I believe they attempted to and successfully befriended a wealthy older person, so maybe they'd get the money, not the money, so maybe they would get some money when the individual checked out. Others, it was more just an attraction to power and money. They themselves, the individual, is kind of obsessed with what everyone makes for a living, how much everything costs. So they were kind of born and bred obsessed with money and power. So then they try to get in good with someone who they assume has money and power. Josh knows this. I dated a girl twice, and throughout the 6 years of total dating, I never had any idea what she did for a living. Not a clue. I knew she went to an office. I had no idea what she did. And maybe that comes from because I grew up poor and money was never a thing.
Well, there's people.
I don't know. I'm wondering.
I like to know kind of just about people. I'm fascinated with what they do, like I said, but not to the point where it matters so much, but just, what's your day like? But I know people who have told me over and over again what their job is, and I don't understand it whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually like some of these jobs, like the marketing, web development, or, whatever it is, where and I've mentioned this before, a buddy of mine had this theory, and I totally agree. When you don't understand the title of the job, they're making a ton of money.
Right. And they're not working all that hard either.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that, but I can just tell you that if there's some sort of marketing something, consultant something, they're definitely raking it in.
But here's my question. Do you know people who are specifically attracted to a certain occupation? The reason I ask, and maybe this is just a liquor talking, but if we just got done rolling through a list of the sexiest jobs, according to men and according to women, does that mean there are people out there who specifically seek out, I need to date a doctor, I need to be with a cop, I need to be with
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Do you know anybody who has that motivation?
Oh, yeah, I know a girl that, you know her too, who wanted to date a professional athlete. That was her entire goal. I should say marry a professional athlete.
Really?
Her entire goal was to marry an athlete.
I know her too?
Yes, you do. You'd know the story. We were told the story by a professional athlete who mentioned the whole team couldn't stand this person because they knew what this person was doing.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about.
And it didn't matter to that person who they were with.
They just needed someone to say yes.
It needed to be a professional athlete.
Ah, god dang. There you go. I had forgotten about that, but you're right. I mean, that's interesting to me. That's interesting to me that, so many of us, we don't really think too hard about it when we get involved with somebody. You're physically attracted to them, you like their personality, you go from there, right? That's a lot of us. But I'm interested in the idea that somebody might sit there and say, okay, they are good looking, I am sexually attracted, their personality is okay, but their occupation, I don't know if that's going to be.
Well, I think if it doesn't align with your values, I mean, you've heard.
Oh, okay, that's something I didn't consider.
You hear women, they love a man in uniform, right? And there's certain values you have if you're in that profession that you might align with. It's something you really respect. The sacrifice they're making, they're heroes, right? That kind of thing.
Okay.
I was going to say, I knew a girl that would only date like people in the armed forces and stuff like that.
And I'm sure it's because that's just how, right, it aligned with her values.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting.
Yep. So if somebody did something that you're totally opposed to, I mean, that would probably be
Sure.
turn off.
There's that. Yeah, it's just interesting to me because I've never considered their occupation as a factor. It's about the last thing that falls into place. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it could be maybe people go, oh, that job's not going to work because you're out of town all the time, and I can't have a relationship like that. Traveling salesman, I can't do that one.
Sure.
A wrestling ref.
Why wouldn't you date a wrestling ref? Or are you saying you would?
No, well, I don't know. Well, it would just be tough if you're a wrestling ref. I mean, you're in different cities all the time. It'd be tough to keep a relationship.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, you're going along with just that you're out of town.
Yeah.
You need something to spoon with.
Yeah, not just a pillow.
You're nothing but a pillow.
Yeah, like, what do you do I'm a puppy clubber. I go around and club puppies.
Oh,
come on now.
I mean, they might check all the other boxes, but you can't get over that one.
Oh!
Yeah, like if a guy's a dog walker, Ashley, do you think that'd be hot?
She wants
the money's not there.
She wants money.
The money's not there.
Money.
Also, they're usually like overwhelmed because they have like 10 different dogs, and like somebody being like stressed out is kind of a turn off.
What about a vet, Ashley? Would that be hot to you?
Yeah.
Rosalie said she couldn't date an office boy, blue collar all the way for her. Got to be blue collar.
That's what I thought too, because obviously my ex was blue collar until I met someone that wears like polos and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is much more my vibe.
Because polos are more expensive.
Oh, they just look good. You look clean cut, nice. I like that clean look.
I hear you on all that. I like them to look filthy. Absolutely filthy. Here's the deal. It is Thursday, and like we already mentioned, our guest later on this morning will be adult actress Jordan Maxx. Anyone got a problem with what she does for a living as far as dating goes?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way I could date a porn star. I should say, you phrased it as a problem. I don't have a problem, but I'm just saying for me personally.
No, okay. I see.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
me,
wouldn't be able to either,
first,
no.
I could not do that, no.
Nope.
I do not have the self-confidence. I do not. Well, there's a lot. I guess there's a few things there, but could not.
I would absolutely love it.
Oh, I think plenty of people would.
Yes, I said. You're a great crowd. Thanks for joining us here on the program. We'll be right back.
Half-assed Morning Show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Blue Ridge Hospice thrift shops are bigger and better than ever. With a new and expanded site at one of our 2 Winchester locations and our 6 well-established boutiques across the area. Blue Ridge Hospice thrift shops attract bargain hunters, treasure seekers, collectors, and antiquers. Mention this ad on your next shopping trip and receive a 10% discount. Blue Ridge Hospice thrift shops gratefully accept your donations, including electronics and furniture. For locations, hours, and information on how to donate, please visit BlueRidgeHospice.org.
Stupid news on the Half-assed Morning Show.
Wow. You know, sometimes, Josh, these, by God, stupid news stories need a setup. A good setup. Sometimes I need to dump some info on you, get you warmed up to what the hell is going on before I get to the good stuff, but sometimes I can just cut to the chase. This is one of those cut to the chase stories, so here we go. A 62-year-old man is facing firearms charges in the state of Illinois after he accidentally shot himself in the leg in his sleep while having a dream that he was defending himself against an intruder in his house.
How embarrassing.
That is good stuff right there. The poor bastard was sound asleep, and he air-holed himself with his own gun. Dude.
Does he just sleep holding the gun then, I imagine? Or is it by his nightstand?
I don't have any of those details.
Under the pillow.
Up in here. The dude goes by the name of Mark DeCara. He used a .357 Magnum that he owned to fire the shot. This was around 10 o'clock a few days ago. Hey, he gets to bed early, this Mark guy. 10 o'clock, he was sound asleep. Good for him. Good for him. That's one positive about his life. Near the incident, Mr. DeCara dreamed someone was breaking into his home. And he retrieved the gun. So that to me says he had to get up and go somewhere to get the gun. And in his dream, he was going to shoot who he believed was the, quote, intruder. So he's one of these guys, it sounds to me at least, that can get up on his feet and walk around and still be sound asleep, like my dad, who has provided awesome entertainment for us throughout our lives together. By the way, the man can operate completely asleep. I can tell you some of those stories another time. When he fired the revolver, he shot himself in the leg. He was dreaming he was shooting an intruder, but in reality, he shot himself in the... Now, as you might imagine, the bullet rattling through his leg, that woke him smooth up.
If he could sleep through that, that would have been really impressive.
And he quickly realized that there was nobody in the house but him. And he was in some pain.
I'll bet.
When the cops showed on up, they found Mark DeCara suffering from a gunshot wound to the leg, and they said he was losing what they described as a significant amount of blood. The round went through his leg and lodged itself in his bed. He went to the hospital. He's all right.
My uncle almost died from getting shot in the leg. Got an artery there.
Ooh-wee. Ah. Yeah, you got to worry about the arteries. They'll empty you real quick. Here's the more bad news for Mr. DeCara. The gun that he used, you know, he owns the gun, but he doesn't have a firearm owner's identification card, which is mandatory in the state of Illinois in order to legally possess a gun. So now he's got to answer to that. He's got to go to court for this. So he's going to have to tell this hilarious bad dream story over and over and over again. Good times. Son of a bitch. Shot myself in the leg, having a nightmare.
I wonder if that's going to come up at the bar with his buddies.
God help us.
I sure hope so. I'd expect it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll call him Mr. Dream or something like that. Or what was
the Sandman?
The Sandman's a good one.
Oh, Dream Warrior.
All right, if you can, please forgive me ahead of time because I'm gonna come uncorked here. We were just talking about this kind of nonsense briefly yesterday. If you ask me, this is one of the ultimate signs of lunacy. I mean, you have to be so self-absorbed that you're legally insane to do something like this. Also, don't disregard the draw of social media popularity too here. That comes into play here as well, I think. This makes me sick to my stomach, and it just shows how self-centered some of us have become. A grown man and a father. This is the head of a household, Summers, okay? Grown man and a father. God help us. He faked his own death to teach his family a lesson. Right? That old story. This isn't the first time we've heard these kinds of stories. Like I said, we touched on it briefly yesterday, but the specifics of this are so ridiculous. So he fakes his own death to teach his family a lesson. And then he showed up at his own funeral in a helicopter just to add the douchey cherry on top to this ridiculous nonsense.
So is the lesson that he's even a bigger douchebag than they thought before?
Yeah, that's tough to, unless you're like in the military or you're rescuing someone. If you land someplace with a helicopter, you kind of do look like a douche. Mm-hmm. You're just a rich guy. That's it.
This guy's some TikTok clown in Belgium named David Barton. I'm going to go with the name Barton. The story says he, along with his wife and children, but mostly him, I would guess, decided to orchestrate this prank to be played on their loved ones. And here's where my blood pressure skyrockets. He pulled off the prank to see who actually cared about him.
Not as many as he may have hoped.
This is sick. He got his damn kids involved. One of his kids got on social media to write a tribute to her father, to mislead people into thinking that he was dead.
Oh, man.
She wrote on social media, "Rest in peace, Daddy. I will never stop thinking about you. Why is life so unfair? Why you? You were going to be a grandfather. You still had your whole life ahead of you. I love you. We love you. We will never forget you." Then they set up a fake funeral. Dozens of friends and family showed up, and then a helicopter swoops in. The supposedly dead man, alongside a camera crew, of course, hops out of the helicopter and he says, "Cheers to you all. Welcome to my funeral."
Even if I really liked somebody, like really, really, really liked somebody, and they pulled this off, that'd be tough to forgive.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Tough to get past.
Cubby, you ain't kidding. Really like somebody, you say? Hell, I'm gonna buck up and say, "I love you." With every ounce of my being, with every inch of my... But if you did this, I would be effing furious.
As you should be.
And I would question whether or not we should remain friends.
Hold on 1 second.
Yes?
This is unrelated. Hey, Siri.
I'm sorry.
Cancel the chopper.
Some suckers were relieved that this clown ass was still alive. Some of them went kind of hurriedly running over to the chopper. "You're really alive." Okay, so there were some suckers there. They ran up and gave this douche a hug. Others were completely confused, as you might imagine. What the hell's going on here? Some were pissed, and obviously for good reason. Now, if you haven't vomited yet or cried your eyes out of sadness for how pathetic people have become ever since social media came along, and yes, I'm absolutely blaming social media for this and a lot of the other issues we have these days. We would be so much better off without it. Listen to this guy. This is the David guy. Just listen. He said he did it because he didn't like the treatment his family and friends had been giving him. This is a direct quote. "What I see in my family often hurts me." This is him talking after he pulled off this prank. "I never get invited to anything. Nobody sees me. We've grown apart. I felt unappreciated. That's why I wanted to give my family, or my friends, more, he says his family was in on the bit, so more so. That's why I wanted to give my friends a life lesson and show them you shouldn't wait until someone is dead to meet up with them.
Maybe this guy should have just taken the hint that there's a reason nobody wanted to hang out with him.
What are the rules now? If you're declared dead and you show up at the funeral, can they just kick you into the hole and throw some dirt on you?
Yeah.
Is it like double jeopardy in a murder trial?
He says ever since he pulled off this garbage prank, some loved ones have been reaching out to him. And he said, this proves who really cares about me. So in a way, I did win.
Oh, man.
I would have sent him to a loony bin.
Yeah, there's got to be a crime here somewhere, right? I mean, who paid for the funeral? People probably took the day off of work or something to go to this.
What I would be pissed about. Like, you have to travel, set up all these plans. Wait, you're still alive, dude?
I had to buy a suit.
I
had to put on pants.
I want to vomit all over myself. If I talk any more about this guy, I'll likely have a heart attack. But
I mean, he sounds so likable. How do people not like him?
What about me? People weren't paying attention to me. They weren't appreciating me. This is the attitude that social media has created. Sorry, I got on my soapbox here once. I never do that, obviously, right? You guys know I never do. But
rare.
I'm 100% blaming social media. We didn't act like this before. I just don't think we did.
The guy's got to have money, too.
Yeah, I'd imagine
rent
so.
A chopper?
I'd imagine so. My favorite part of the story, though, is that only half the family showed up to the funeral.
Yeah. That shows you all you need to know about the guy to begin with.
I don't know how he says he wins.
Wait a minute. Did I say... I missed that. Was that in there that I missed that?
Yeah, that was... I sent you 2 versions. It was in one of the versions.
Oh, balls, Mahoney.
Yeah, only half showed up.
I guess that's a way to weed out some family members.
Well, I'll tell you the old story of my folks. My folks went to a funeral quite a few years ago, and the dead guy he just was not a very well-liked guy. It was the truth. He didn't make many friends. He was kind of an abrasive guy. And what can you do? But my folks had known him for years, and they were getting dressed to go to the funeral. And my mom said to my dad, well, hurry up now. We're going to be late for the funeral. And my dad said, well, you know it ain't going to be busy. But that was the truth.
Yeah, it's cold but true.
What can you do?
How would you guys respond to the family that were in on it? You know, we mentioned even if you really, really cared about somebody, they did this, it'd be tough to maintain a relationship with them.
I think that my relationship would be over, Josh.
Yeah.
It would be over.
The girl or woman that wrote that tribute about her dad, I mean, that takes some effort.
Well, and she's got to be older, too.
Yeah.
Because she was talking about grandchildren and all this and that. So she knows what she's doing.
And the line from the douchebag who pulled this off, we've grown apart. Dude, that's what happens to families once they get older. We're all supposed to just be holding hands around the dinner table until the day that we die? We move on. That's what happens when you become an adult. This guy's such a douche. He's mad at his children for moving on with their lives.
I want to see what happens when he actually does pass away and who shows up.
God.
I'm not taking off work again, man.
That's going to be
I did this once.
But to answer your question, Cubby, family, friend, it wouldn't matter. That would be the end of my relationship with them if they did anything like this. You cannot be that self-absorbed and have me give you the time of day. No way.
It sure says a lot about how he feels about himself.
Good God in heaven.
Do you think you could put the casket in like a storage unit until you need it?
Let's move on to a completely different kind of sick, disgusting behavior like this here. A former manager at the Harvard Medical School morgue. I mean, I bet you gotta be an educated person, I would imagine, to be the manager at the Harvard Medical School morgue.
Yeah.
He, along with his old lady and 3 other people, have been indicted for stealing and selling human body parts.
Oh.
The former manager's name is Cedric Lodge. He's up to 55 years old now. He stole dissected portions of cadavers that were donated to the school so future doctors could cut up and whatever they do with cadavers. He's been running this scam for 5 damn years, don't you know? The body parts were taken without the school's knowledge or permission. He stole, you want to hear what he stole? Severed heads. Brains. Sometimes skin and bones. Sometimes he'd take the body parts, Cubby, back to his house where he lived with the old lady.
That'd be a tough one to explain to the wife, I think.
You don't need to bring your work home with you, honey.
But it sounds like she was in on it.
Oh, okay.
She was in on it. Some remains were sent to buyers through the mail. He also allegedly allowed buyers to come to the morgue and pick what remains they wanted to buy. Yeah, I'll take 3 big toes, 2 nipples, an elbow, and an uncircumcised penis, please.
No, that brain's too small. I want a bigger one.
It's like the pull your parts places for your car.
Yeah.
You just go there. You know, I'm tired of this circumcised penis.
So the story here says now, bodies donated to Harvard Medical School are used for education, teaching, research purposes. Once they are no longer needed, the cadavers are usually cremated and the ashes are returned to the donor's family or buried in one of those cemeteries. That's how it's supposed to go. Instead, this lodge guy and his wife and a few other people were just packaging up noses and kneecaps and selling them to the highest bidder. One of the folks charged in this horrible crime is from right here in East Methil, Minnesota. Kneecaps and teeth and gums, butt cracks, eyebrows, Adam's apples, camel toes, whatever you want.
I wonder what the most expensive part of the body you could buy is, and also what these people were doing with them.
Yeah. I kind of was wondering that, but then I probably thinking I didn't want to know the answer.
Oh, I definitely want to know the answer.
Wouldn't the most expensive part be the brain?
That's what I thought too.
Because the brain runs everything.
Oh, I bet that is. It probably costs an arm and a leg. Where's the rim shot?
Oh, you prick bastard.
Yeah, the brain or a skull?
The Skulldini. Yeah. I don't know, Cubby. Maybe you can find it online.
Yeah, Dana, you search. How much for a bucket of skin?
Yeah.
Oh, man, actually a KFC or something. That sounds pretty good.
My mind immediately went to KFC for some reason when you said that.
God, that went sideways the one night, Wappa, when I sent you off to the cemetery to get me a brain. That friggin' scene went sideways.
No, he can't read. What did that say on the jar?
Abby Normal.
Remember how I promised you I wasn't going to get upset?
Yeah.
And you told me.
And then you did.
I did. All right. Here's a gal who can't get her neighbor, a teenage dude, her neighbor. This gal can't get her neighbor to stop pissing out his window. I think this is in stupid England, but I can't be sure, and who cares anyway. The deal is, the kid keeps hanging it out his window. He hauls off and takes a squeege out his window. His teenage urine lands on the roof of his own house. And then this lady here is upset because she lives next door and she smells whiz all day. She can no longer enjoy spending time in her yard, she says, without smelling urine because this kid keeps squirting out the window.
We used to do that as little kids. Go upstairs and pee out the window.
Did you?
Yeah, just for entertainment.
I only did it once.
We didn't have cable, Dana.
Yeah, so you had to find ways to entertain yourself?
And we never got a chance to watch TV. My folks always had it.
I only took a squeege out a window once. I was so hungover, I couldn't get physically out of bed. And so I just pointed it out the window. Broad daylight.
Went for it.
I don't think I've ever done it. Now I have something to do this afternoon.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, you'll like it.
This lady says...
Make sure you open the window, though, Wapple.
Oh.
Made that mistake.
What if I'm driving? Is that bad?
I wouldn't do that in your car where you stick it out the window.
That'd be impressive if you could pull it off, though.
Yeah, I'll subscribe to your OnlyFans page if you can pull that off.
Just kind of looping around out the window.
Beef Cannon Jesus has texted in, Josh, on your question about you were wondering what's the most expensive part of the human body. Beef Cannon Jesus says, the eyes. It's always the eyes.
Well, yeah. What would you do with those, too?
It's like a doll's eyes.
I grabbed audio of Wapple making the mistake on the brain.
Igor, would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
Abby someone.
Abby someone.
Abby Normal. I'm almost sure that was the name.
Are you saying that I put
Oh, God.
an abnormal brain
Here we go.
into a 7.5-foot long, 54-inch wide gorilla? Is that what you're telling me? Wait.
Such a good scene.
I got pissed.
I love the part that...
Said a give! All right, so this gal, her next-door neighbor, is taking a leak ski out the window, and all she smells is urine. She first noticed the smell of urine when she was tending to her garden. She didn't realize what the source of the smell was until she was sitting on her patio, and she thought she heard rain. You see what I'm saying? Sure. She thought she heard, and that's when she found out what was going on, skis. She said she doesn't really know her neighbors. Speak out to the mom about this. She thinks they might be a little shady over there because the cops have shown up once or twice. She's kind of scared. She posted about it on Reddit. And folks commented back saying, go talk to the mom, straighten this out. You shouldn't have to live like that.
Now I forget who told me this. Was that you, Nick, that said you had a friend who had a pee bucket next to the bed just out of laziness?
Who the hell was that? Well,
So you remember somebody saying that too?
Well, my dad had a pee bucket in his garage for many years.
It was next to their bed.
Next to their bed.
Who was telling me that?
That doesn't ring a bell. I kept a pee bucket in my fish house, and before you get confused and say, well, why don't you just step outside the fish house when you're ice fishing if you want to take that's not what it was. I would store my fish house, next to the garage in the off season, and I didn't mean to mislead you. I didn't have a pee bucket in there. But instead of walking into the house to take a whiz, I'd go into my fish house and whiz in one of the holes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I can't think of someone who had a whiz bucket next to their bed.
Yeah, it must have been something not here then.
Well, what would you do if your neighbor came? I mean, come on, just talk to him. Or you could say, two can play this game.
Dueling wizards.
Well, maybe
a number two.
Yeah, brew up a number two for the
there
kid.
You go.
And see if he gives in.
Well, I was going to say, if she was watering flowers, maybe if he gave her a number two, she could use it for fertilizer.
Oh, there is a quote-unquote influencer, super hot. She's trying to tell people to grow food in their own poop. I don't know if you saw that story recently.
Hey, it saved Matt Damon's life.
You talk about it in The Martian?
Mm-hmm.
I got to read that book.
There's an influencer telling people to grow food with their own deuce.
Yeah, and she's crazy hot. The peeing thing reminds me of Shrinking on Apple TV Plus. Very funny show. Remember the dude formerly on Married with Children who steals every scene pretty much when he comes in there? He pees off his balcony.
Off the balcony, off the deck.
Yeah, that's his normal morning routine.
Yeah, just goes on out there and just hangs one.
Oh, she is hot.
You see her?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be the judge of that.
She only spends $84 a month on groceries. What?
Because she grows her own food with her own poop.
Insane.
That's way too much work.
And there's people smelling the ground.
Yeah, that's stupid. And she's got it in her hand.
What? She's carrying one of her own turds in her hand?
It's like...
she's no longer hot.
It's like the soil, So
Yeah.
it's the poop mixed with the everything.
Yeah.
Before we go, maybe we want to encourage people to watch the video of this driverless car gimmick. Is that up on our website? Anybody know?
I believe Ashley had posted that. Did she have a tummy issue? Or?
Yeah, she grabbed a garbage can and ran out of here.
Oh, no good.
Mm-hmm. She going to pee in it?
Pooping.
Here's the deal. Some wacky sumbitches at the University of Nottingham, wherever the hell that is.
Well, let's go to England for that one.
Is that where we're going?
That's where we're headed.
They pulled off this cute research. Dude, it's tough to describe. As part of a study, a car was driven around the university's campus over several days with the driver concealed in the driver's seat. It's like a transformer type thing. He's in some kind of an outfit, and when he sits back, he looks like he's just the seat of the car, but he is driving the car. And the research was to see how folks react to driverless cars. There's not much to it, really.
That's pretty funny.
It is funny to see the guy in the outfit and see how he operates the car looking like a driver's seat. If you want to check it out, the word is it's up on our website.
You may have seen this before. There's a young guy, who was doing this prank at drive-thrus. Do you guys remember seeing that a few years ago? It was kind of big.
Never saw it.
So he kind of like hidden in the seat a little bit? Yes.
Yeah, you remember that one?
That was funny.
That's what this is, essentially.
Oh.
Where this looks like there's nobody in the car.
Well, that drive-through bit sounds like way more fun. So the drive-through window attendant sees a car pull up, there's no one there,
Right.
and then he lurches out and scares the hell out of him?
Well, he said something to him. I can't remember. He does a bunch of different ones.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I think he like moves or something.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So Ashley grabbed a bucket and left the studio, you said?
Yes.
Our listeners are chanting 19.
We're going to count this one?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
She has to be, the show has to be affected by 30 minutes, right?
Okay.
And she took off before the stupid news.
It was right as stupid news was getting
right
going.
as it was starting.
What time did that start, Whopper?
About 6:25.
Oh, we're getting there.
Coming up
A
there.
preemptive 19 chant has begun.
Got by a
4
lot
minutes.
of people.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
How do you plan to celebrate tonight?
Obviously, it's going to be a fun night, and try not to throw up.
Well, all right, good luck with that, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Philip Kessel there of the Las Vegas Golden Knights after they won the Cup. Someone put a mic in his face and asked him how he planned to celebrate. He just simply said, it's going to be fun, and I'll try not to puke.
I think everyone's had that night.
I had forgotten he was even on that roster until the final game of the series. He had a few shifts. Former University of Minnesota hockey player Philip, by God, woo Kessel. Now, don't start chanting 20. You're going to jinx it. People are texting in chanting 20 already on Ashley's total affected work days since New Year's. Let's not jump the gun, but we are officially at 19. And thank you for everyone who's playing along. Real quick, before I give you a little something or another on the sports, remember we were talking in the stupid news about a lady. She's got a problem. Her neighbor kid keeps taking a whiz out his window, and the neighborhood smells like piss because of it. And we started trading stories back and forth. Josh, you were wondering, didn't I know somebody who put a bucket next to their bedroom because they were too lazy to walk to the bathroom? I can't remember that. Listen to this story from a listener texted in. My brother lived with our mother for over a decade, and then she died. And when we were cleaning out her house, we cleaned out the room that my brother lived in. And we found 10 years worth of urine bottles in his bedroom. Oh. This listener says, I have a picture of it if you want to see it. It's pretty disgusting. Save the picture.
Yeah, we believe you.
But, we've heard of folks like this this could have been an example of someone who was too lazy to walk to the bathroom. That could be. But also it could be one of these people who saves their bodily functions. We've heard story. Didn't you know a guy who saved all his toenails for 20 years
his fingernail and toenail clippings. I knew him when he was early 20s. I was in high school. He was older. We were in a band. We were in bands, and he was one of the guys we'd play with sometimes. And I saw this giant bowl. Like, it was actually a goblet. He was into, Game of Thrones type stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Giant goblet filled with them. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? And he said, oh, yeah, my mom had saved all my toenail clippings and fingernail clippings, and I've just done it forever.
He blamed it on his mom.
Yeah, she started the trend.
So the reasoning was it was something his mother started and he was continuing it.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that?
And I remembered it was off air. It was a friend of mine. She had mentioned she dated a guy who would pee next to his bed in a bucket.
Oh, this was
okay.
Yeah,
he just would be too tired or too lazy to get up.
You got to the bottom of that story. And the Twins are doing all right, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They swept their cute little series with the Milwaukee Brewers. They did. They've won 4 of their past 5. Yesterday, the final was 4-2. We'll get into it with Randy Shaver here in about a half hour. We got to take a break, come back with Josh's news.
Half-assed morning show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Like the air is a little thicker or something.
We were thinking about our health. Yeah, we should be inside with the air on and not breathing this stuff. But we can't stay in there because then we go nuts.
Minnesota had the worst air quality in the United States yesterday, as smoke from massive Canadian wildfires drifted across the state a week after similar smoke blanketed the northeastern U.S. That was crazy.
It was funny looking.
Yeah.
But it smelled good.
I didn't mind the smell.
No, I don't mind that smell.
It reminded me of watching Dune or something like that. I felt like I was in a sci-fi movie yesterday.
Well, I'd be watching an airplane kind of fly by, and then it would just kind of disappear like a sci-fi movie. You know, you just wouldn't be able to see it anymore. It was right ahead of you.
Certainly unique. But after a while, my eyes started to get a little itchy.
Oh, it's always the...
throat. Yeah. So I had to go inside. Partially because of that, and mostly because I lost 3 games of horse in a row. These small particles in wildfire smoke can irritate the eyes, nose, and throat and can affect the heart and lungs, doctors say, making it hard to breathe. The smoke was near the worst on record for the Twin Cities as the air quality hit red on the U.S. government's color-coded index, meaning it was unhealthy for everyone. Health officials say it's important to limit outdoor activities as much as possible.
Well, ain't that a pisser? It's supposed to be kind of bad today, too, isn't it?
Yeah, they say so. Yeah, it could be by the end of today or tomorrow. Things should get better.
Well, damn. You really lost 3 games of horse in a row?
In a row, yeah. There was a short break while I went inside to pee and kind of regroup. But they were consecutive losses.
Well,
Yeah.
who did you lose to? Don't say...
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Come on. You didn't lose to my godson, your... regular son, did you?
Listen, it doesn't matter who I lost to. It doesn't matter who I lost. You know, some days you have good days, some days you have bad days, and someday I will have that good day.
God, I mean, you're a grown man.
I told you before.
You've had intercourse with his mother. you're an adult now.
I had a game maybe a few weeks ago now where I couldn't miss. It made no sense to the point where it was comical. I was playing so well.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because my oldest son was there, and I thought, hey, he's going to be kind of impressed. Like, I don't suck as bad as normal. I mean, there's times I've had shots where I kind of casually look around to make sure none of the neighbor guys are outside watering their lawns or something.
Did you consider pulling a John Elway and just retiring, going out on top after that game?
I did think about it.
Yeah.
I'll leave this to the kids, the amateurs.
Here's the deal, Cubby, if you don't mind me giving you a little advice.
I'll take it.
Next time you get hot, just play pig.
Oh, right. We can end it sooner.
Get it over with.
But then you don't have the hoe and you're a hoe, you're a whore jokes, that you get with... you're lucky enough to get with horse.
Well, I hear you with that.
Minneapolis public officials canceled events for music and movies in the park and outdoor activities yesterday. St. Paul canceled all youth and adult activities, and many outdoor events across the state did the same. Flames are also spreading in northern Minnesota. A wildfire is burning west of the Gunflint Trail in the Boundary Waters. Meteorologist David Brown with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency said it's not typical to have both smoke and ozone in the same event, which apparently we do now.
Ozone is a gas. It's made up of 3 oxygen molecules. It's obviously very helpful because it filters out ultraviolet radiation near the ground. When it's inhaled by people, it can cause respiratory distress.
A 28-year-old woman who enrolled at a Louisiana high school and posed as a 17-year-old student has been arrested along with her mother.
Everybody that is hearing about this, they need to really watch out and just be aware of your surroundings.
4 days after the school year ended, May 25th, an internal investigation began after the St. Charles Parish school system received a tip a female student, believed to be 17, may actually have been in her mid-20s. Turns out she was in her late 20s.
Oh. Whoa.
After an internal investigation, school officials notified the sheriff's office of their findings.
We are conducting an audit of enrollment documents for students currently enrolled in St. Charles Parish Public Schools.
We are reviewing student enrollment policy and procedures, and we will make enhancements based upon that review.
The investigation found 46-year-old Marta Serrano Alvarado had enrolled her 28-year-old daughter Martha Gutierrez Serrano in the school using a fraudulent passport and birth certificate.
She was not a disciplinary problem. She violated no laws in the community that we had to deal with her. As far as we know, she did nothing inappropriate at all, merely attended school. The information we got about the reason for her doing this was simple. She wanted to learn English.
This isn't the first time this year an adult has been accused of posing as a high school student. You may remember in January, a 29-year-old woman was charged with using false documents to enroll in a New Jersey high school. She attended classes over a 4-day period.
Really, honestly, the gal just wanted to learn English, so her mother enrolled her into high school.
Yeah, that's what the cops learned.
Aren't there adult classes?
There are.
That will, sure.
Or at-home programs, get a Rosetta Stone going?
Yeah, but you don't have the chance of Italian dunkers at lunch.
That's a good point.
Dude. I mean, I bet she had a blast. I wish I could go back to high school. That'd be a riot.
A senior prank at Central High School in St. Paul left behind a particularly challenging job for a local towing company last week. Students took a car from the school's automotive program 2 blocks away and then hauled it up 2 flights of stairs at the school's entrance, where it was discovered Friday morning. The owner of the towing company said, "Imagine seeing 20-plus kids hauling what's left of a car walking down the street in the middle of the night," he wrote on Facebook. "Big thank you to my crew for the manual labor," he said. The senior prank isn't the first in Minnesota that's made the news. Last year, Prior Lake High School's lunch period erupted into chaos when a group of seniors released pigeons and dropped flour and water balloons from an overhead railing. A Florida man allegedly threw a 7-inch kitchen knife at a person Monday after he was denied a ride to GameStop. Pissed him off. He wanted to go get Diablo 4 or one of the hot games. 19-year-old James Colasanti asked family members for a ride to GameStop, and when they said no, he became angry, pulled out 2 pocket knives, and threatened to kill them.
Take me to the GameStop store. That's usually not something that you pull knives on people for. So he decided to pull out 2 knives, 1 in each hand, and threatened to kill them.
Someone took the knives away from the man, but he reportedly grabbed a 7-inch knife and threw it. He eventually jumped a fence at a nearby high school, which sent the school into lockdown. Law enforcement found the man in a storage container on school property. Body camera footage showed he was found with several knives, a cell phone, and a tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Golf 23, we've got him behind the football field on the north side. He's on the phone. He's got a phone in his right hand. Sheriff's office, put your phone down and come out. He's got a bulge in his right pocket. Don't touch whatever's in your pocket.
Way down, face flat on the ground. Keep your hands on top of your head.
Doesn't get any more pathetic than this, Sheriff Rick Staley said in a statement. He ruined his future over video games. Colasanti was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and armed trespassing on social grounds.
But he had a bucket of ice cream on him?
Ben & Jerry's.
Delicious.
A lovelorn teacher wearing a red wig, a COVID mask, and sunglasses showed up at her ex-lover's home and repeatedly stabbed his wife with a carving knife she's stashed in a bouquet of flowers.
Wow, that's evil.
Just before 5 p.m. on the afternoon of the unprovoked attack, 44-year-old Claire Bailey, a school teacher in Western England, showed up at the home of her romantic rival.
I saw somebody standing there with a bunch of flowers, and I wasn't actually going to answer it. She had sunglasses on, bright red hair, and a COVID mask. And she just said, "These are for you." And when she said it the second time, I noticed that there was a knife handle behind the flowers that she was holding. Tried to shut the door, and then she forced her way in.
When the victim, a 43-year-old married mom named Emma, opened the door, Bailey lunged at the woman, repeatedly stabbing and slashing her in the neck, chest, stomach, and arms.
I've got various scars from stab wounds and then the defense wounds.
Police say Emma didn't know Bailey, but an investigation revealed the 44-year-old teacher previously had an extramarital affair with Emma's husband, which ended several months earlier, something which Bailey had struggled to accept, police said. On the morning of the stabbing, Bailey called in sick at work and made the nearly 3-hour trip to the victim's home. Before showing up, she stopped at a grocery store to buy flowers in order to disguise the knife. After the attack, Bailey drove home. She was arrested by police 2 days later.
It's pretty sick, bruh.
Yeah, what a nutcase.
A romantic rival.
Who didn't even know she was a rival.
Didn't know. Have any of us had a romantic rival?
I don't think so.
I mean, not really, but there was a guy, I dated a girl, former sales girl for one of our sister stations, and there was a guy who was the programmer of that station who would ask her out constantly, even though we'd been dating for a few years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wapple, are you aware of any dudes that are after your landlord?
No, not yet. I'll figure them out.
You think so?
You'll weed them out.
A man we talked about yesterday who allegedly robbed an Invergrove Heights bank last week told police it was all a joke.
It's just a goof.
Invergrove Heights police arrested the 22-year-old Monday after searching his home and finding evidence linking him to the robbery. They initially responded to a panic alarm at the Wells Fargo just before 5 p.m. Friday. However, the suspect had fled by the time officers arrived. Court documents state that a bank teller said the robber showed him a note that said something like, "Give me $150,000 or I will shoot you." He then ran off after the teller emptied the cash drawer. When officers showed up to search the alleged robber's home Monday, a criminal complaint states the man answered the door and told police what happened Friday was a joke and, quote, "it must not have been very funny." He then told police he hid the money under his sister's bed. He's facing up to 15 years in prison if convicted.
That's no joke right there.
No. Yeah, you know, if you take the money, you can no longer claim that a joke. A cannon was stolen from a historic fort sometime earlier this month, and now police are investigating.
We're a small nonprofit organization. This is sort of a sentimental cannon for us. I would suspect this was taken by someone who finds it an appealing curiosity. Maybe it's in somebody's yard, in someone's living room.
The 300-pound replica signal cannon was taken from its spot on the wall surrounding the fort in South Philadelphia. The working replica was about 4 feet long and sat on a box atop a 14-foot wall, so police say stealing it was no easy feat.
Removed down from the top of the wall, then it would have to be removed across the parade ground and loaded into a truck.
Who's hollering in the background?
They're doing some shooting in the background.
Mm-hmm. They're firing cannons.
Police.
Someone went ahead and stole a cannon.
Yeah, 300-pound replica cannon.
Sweet.
Although
pretty badass.
Yeah, it is cool. I do want it. Wouldn't fit in my living room, but I can find a place for it. Philadelphia police confirmed the cannon does work, and it's potentially dangerous. Surveillance video didn't capture the theft of the cannon, valued at about $3,000.
Cubby, you get that cannon, right? You put it in your living room. And like you said, it would take up a lot of space. And then the wife says, "You want to just relax and watch a movie tonight?" And you say, "Sure, hang on. Let me clear the cannon." And then you move it to another room, and then you turn the TV.
What's the first thing you would blast with your cannon?
Okay, we're going to isolate that. Boy, that's a great question.
I think I'd say the butt. Wobble. I'd say the butt.
I think I'd go like a pumpkin or a watermelon. You know,
you want something that explodes?
Really explodes.
Or maybe one of those giant pumpkins they have at Stillwater for the giant pumpkin contest each year. One of those ones would really explode.
I got an idea. How about, let's say you get lucky and one of your buddies wants to get rid of his above-ground pool. You're looking to get rid of the sumbitch, huh? I'll be over by this afternoon. I got something that'll take care of it. And then,
all right, you've inspired me. A friend of mine just got an above-ground pool. I don't care if he's ready to get rid of it. Let's blow that bitch up. A stalled train was the target of looters looking for a case of cold ones. A Union Pacific train appeared to have been stopped or stalled on tracks in Bakersfield, California, Saturday. A witness saw several people go to one of the rail cars and steal beer. A local news photojournalist found 2 rail cars with their doors open. The rail cars were filled with pallets of brew, and dozens of empty cartons of beer were seen on the ground by the train. A representative said the company is aware of the incident and are investigating. Then in Michigan, multiple beer kegs went flying off an overturned semi on westbound 94 just after 5:15 a.m. Tuesday. Beer kegs spilled across the freeway, with some even splitting open and spilling the suds across the road. That crash in Michigan is the second beer spill in the space of a week. Last week, a semi carrying more than 20,000 pounds of beer overturned on Interstate 85 in Georgia.
The whole neighborhood just smells like your old college house.
Yeah, they did mention that it smelled pretty bad.
Yeah.
A Sacramento Mexican restaurant has been ordered to pay out $140,000 to employees after hiring a priest to hear confessions during work hours. Officials say the restaurant brought in someone who identified himself as a priest to hear confessions during official work hours. One employee said the person told workers to get their sins out and confess if they had done anything that may negatively affect their employer.
Employees were asked if they had ever stolen from the employer, been late for work, or if they had done anything to harm their employer. The Department of Labor says its investigation also uncovered the businesses withheld overtime pay and tips.
The Department of Labor discovered the restaurant paid managers from the employee tip pool illegally. They threatened employees. They fired a worker they believe complained to the Department of Labor. The restaurant's owners and operators must pay back wages and damages to 35 employees.
That's different.
Yeah.
Jesus.
How do you come up with that?
I have no idea.
I know. These guys are they'll confess to a priest. A man was arrested after being caught sunbathing naked outside a Taco Bell in England. Witnesses called police after the man was seen laying out on the street without any clothes on just before 2 p.m. A police spokesperson said, "So yes, this happened. He's been slathered with sunscreen and will be attending court this morning."
Dude, I'm trying to keep up my appetite here. I'm pulling into Taco Bell. I don't need that.
No, nobody wants to see that.
That brings a new meaning to naked taco.
I don't know what a naked taco is. Dang it.
That's just frustrating.
Is that
Wapple.
something I should know?
It's like the taco that they made that doesn't have the shell.
Wapple, it's frustrating.
You know, I tried. Didn't work out.
Nobody bats 1,000. Right, Wapple?
Yeah, definitely.
Taco. Yeah. You know what? That's right.
If you did, you'd be amazing.
But it was frustrating, that's all. We'll move on. But I was frustrated by that.
I'll show you a naked taco. Taco Bell and Crocs have teamed up to release limited edition footwear just in time for summer. The partnership resulted in a reimagining of Crocs Mellow Slides, the company's, quote, most comfortable shoes. The newest iteration of the slides features Taco Bell's signature colors, purple and black, and the phrase Live Más. Heidi Cooley, the chief marketing officer at Crocs, said, "We know it doesn't get much better than kicking back in comfort with a cheesy gordita crunch, so pairing our Mellow Slide with Taco Bell is the perfect combo." The shoes, priced at $60, will be available on the Crocs website at the end of the month.
There you go.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds is back for its sophomore season today on Paramount+. The show takes place about a decade before Star Trek the original series and features younger versions of some of the fan favorites from the Star Trek characters. I enjoyed the first season. The season 1 finale introduced a young James T. Kirk. Now in season 2, he'll have a more prominent role. And today on Netflix, after 4 years, Charlie Brooker's acclaimed anthology series Black Mirror is back with a new season of star-studded installments. Season 6 of the Netflix hit features 5 new episodes and an all-star roster, including Aaron Paul, Josh Hartnett, Michael Cera, Salma Hayek, Rob Delaney, and Rory Culkin.
Man, a lot of cool names there.
Then tonight on NBC, the first round of the U.S. Open. Neil Patrick Harris, 50 today. Ice Cube, 54.
What? Neil Patrick Harris is 50?
50.
That's crazy.
Doogie Howser.
Yeah. Who was the next one? I'm sorry.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
54. Courtney Cox, 59. Jim Belushi, 69. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
Strut that ass. Strut that ass. Strut that ass.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
What's been your impression so far of kind of this lifestyle, being an NFL quarterback, being in this building, running an offense? How's it measured up to kind of what you thought this would be?
I'm just here, so I won't get fined. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, but no, I'm kidding. I told my mom I was gonna do that.
Let's get Randy Shaver up in here. Randy?
Good morning.
How you doing, bruh?
Great.
That's
I'm
great.
I'm on the cusp of TV vacation.
That's right. When do you leave town? Today?
I leave later this afternoon. We're moving my youngest son and his wife from Sioux Falls to Iowa City tomorrow. He starts his 3-year residency in Iowa City.
Tell me about the idea of having an elderly man help you with a move. I don't understand that.
Well, the elderly man is there to coordinate and
bring the wallet,
buy dinner, and probably drive the U-Haul truck. So That's what you have to look forward to as an old man.
Are you also going to be tasked with like lugging a dresser up a bunch of stairs or anything like that?
I did that the first time I helped him move to Sioux Falls, and I promised him that would be the last time I ever did any of that. So, yes, I've excused myself. He hired movers to do all that.
Smart.
And probably drive the U-Haul. That's good stuff.
That's exactly right. I probably will. From Sioux Falls to Iowa City, which is not a short drive.
I was just going to ask you, how much of a drive is that?
I think it's about 5 hours.
5 hours.
So you're leaving town. I was wondering about that.
So I'll be on the phone tomorrow.
And you know what? We've decided to postpone the next dad fight until everyone's back in place.
Sure.
Brad Ryder is not available tomorrow. He's doing this or that. You're going to be
on the road.
On the road. So we will wait till next Friday. We'll give dad fights a week off. So you're leaving this afternoon, driving to Sioux Falls. Then you got to up and drive to Iowa. And then you've got some extended time off beyond that?
I do. Yeah, I'm actually off from TV until like the last week of July.
What?
Whoa! Dang, that's great.
Baby. Pimp.
Yeah. So I've got some extended time off here.
Are you going to take another? Are you going to take another road trip? Because usually you and the old lady. Okay, where are you going on?
Well, I thought I'd leave that as a surprise because I'm going to join you guys while I'm on there for the first week of it. Oh. Because I know that we're off the week of the 4th. I think.
Right.
Correct.
Yep. So you're going to surprise us from your.
Yeah, I'd like you to guess where I am.
He's taking a road trip to the studio.
Fun.
Oh, road trip
to the where?
Into the radio studio?
Into the radio station. He's going to come do the show from the radio station that week.
Wouldn't that be something?
That ain't happening.
Well, shoot. I don't want to ruin anything, but there is a drive you've mentioned before everyone should take. And I should have wrote it down last time. Do you know what I'm talking about, Randy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. You're not going to say anything. All right.
I mean, I've told you before, there's we were in Glacier National Park a few years ago. Going to the Sun Road is one of the most incredible drives you'll ever make. I mean, if you Google scenic highways in the U.S., it'll come up with about 6, 7, 8 of those that are pretty incredible to drive.
Right.
And we kind of make a point of trying to figure out if we can make those. I've done the Going to the Sun Road. I've done the famous Highway 12 through Utah. I've done parts of the Blue Ridge Parkway.
What about the Hershey Highway?
No,
have you,
I've stayed away from that.
Dana, you're a regular on Rainbow Road.
Oh, of course, always, daily.
Take that one.
But this next big vacation for you is certainly going to be another road trip.
It is the trip that we were going to take the year of COVID, and of course, COVID canceled everything.
Randy behind the wheel, the old lady sound asleep in the passenger seat. Do you really pin it when you go on these road trips? Do you pin that sumbitch and try to get there quick? Are you a fast driver?
Well, we try not to drive more than like maybe 5-6 hours at the most every day.
Oh, okay.
It gets to be a lot.
You break it up,
and we're doing it in the little convertible, and so we've already had the incredible argument over trunk space and how much suitcase space and everything.
You've got a shaving kit and the wife's got 7 suitcases.
You got that right.
You'll just buy underwear and T-shirts on the way.
Yeah, pretty much, and then just throw them away when I'm done.
No room to bring them back.
That's right.
Well, that's really interesting. So after you are officially done now and on vacation until stinking end of July.
Well, I'm working today. I'm interviewing high school football coaches all day at Mounds View High School. And then once
taping some stuff, and then you're gone.
Yep.
What are the odds that at the end of July you decide, F it, I'm done with TV? I've liked this last month.
I'll put it this way. It's kind of a precursor to see what it feels like. So we'll see.
God, wouldn't that be something?
It's not going to happen this year.
Take a smooth month and a half off, basically. That's the life right there. By the way, I got a text message from a listener talking about you going out to Sioux Falls to help your son move. This listener says, is that the son that looks a hell of a lot like Belinda Jensen? Is that the one that you're going?
No.
Spitting image.
That's not right. That's not proper.
That's not right.
That's not appropriate. All right, what the hell else is going on around here? Oh, here's something for you. Speaking of your TV gig, just like us, Randy Shaver, your occupation isn't considered sexy, at least according to the results of a survey.
I would say 20 years ago probably was.
Yeah?
Probably considered one of the jobs that most college kids would have some interest in.
Well, what they mean by that, Randy, is the kind of occupation that people are sexually attracted to.
Oh, I see.
Where did I have this? We were talking about this earlier.
What about not even a sexy newsman or something like that, or Veronica Corningstone?
I think Ron Burgundy ruined that for everyone.
I think he's sexy.
The jobs that people consider the most sexually attractive. Radio personality didn't make it. Neither did cue card reading dork. Neither did television personality. Does that upset you?
What did make it?
I'll tell you. The sexiest professions.
Professional athlete?
Surprisingly, that didn't make the list.
Didn't show up.
I thought the rest of them made sense.
These are the sexiest professions according to women. Firefighter.
Sure.
Builder. Builder, you're working with your hands.
Wasn't your dad a firefighter, Randy?
He was.
Did he get a lot of tail?
Oh, I'll bet.
Not when I knew him.
Similar to builder, mechanic, getting all greasy and working with your hands. Police officer, doctor,
yes.
Paramedic, musician, electrician. I thought that one was kind of interesting. No offense, electricians.
These are all good examples of people to get into the trade business.
Oh, I wish I would have.
Me too. I know. I've been telling the kids, get into the trades.
Yeah. Wrapping up the list of jobs that women find sexy: farmer and lawyer.
Farmer and lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now the jobs that
lawyer, I'm surprised about. Farmer, I'm not, and musician, I thought would be number one.
Well, that wasn't in any particular order.
Okay.
Lawyer, because they're so sleazy.
Yeah, they got that reputation.
But they got bucks.
Well, yeah.
And that's kind of what Ashley said, the bucks.
Yeah.
Now, the 10 sexiest occupations according to us dudes. We like flight attendants. Randy knows a little bit about that.
He might have married one.
I got one of those.
He locked one of those down.
He went ahead and made it official with one of those. Nurse. And that's not on the list. I just don't feel very well right now. No, nurse, secretary. Oh, God, that movie.
Do they even call them secretaries anymore?
I don't know.
Yeah, isn't it administrative assistant?
Yeah. Teacher.
Sure. Good. Mm-hmm. Good.
Actor.
Yeah.
Police officer, doctor, bartender, maid, and singer.
I'm still a little shocked about actor.
What do you mean?
Meaning what?
I don't know. It's just, it's not very prevalent, I guess.
Well, I think, right.
You're thinking of movie star.
Movie star.
Yeah.
But you're just sexually attracted to it. It doesn't mean you're going to run into it all the time.
True.
Right. Oh, God. Like you wouldn't fall head over heels for Melissa McCarthy as soon as you saw her. I have no idea who I'm even talking about.
Melissa McCarthy?
I meant Jenny McCarthy. Maybe she's not even an actress.
Jenny McCarthy?
No, she's not an actress.
Well, she does acting.
Oh, she does?
Wasn't she the one that put out Cocaine Bear? Wasn't she behind that? Or
no, that was Elizabeth Banks.
I get those two confused for some. Yes, Elizabeth Banks.
All right. Well, congratulations, Randy, on having one more little bit of responsibility this afternoon, and then you are off the hook, Ski.
That's great.
What a life. What a life. All right, what's going on? You were saying yesterday, Randy, and it was, I got a kick out of it. You're tired of all the overexposure that the National Football League gets. Nowadays, here we are in June, and you turn on your sports programming on television, and they're talking about what's happening at the OTAs. Is this guy going to show up? Is that guy going to? The contract says this. It's too much for me. It's been too much for me for decades already with the NFL. But do you take interest in something like this? Because I know you guys have watched
Hard Knocks.
Inside the Huddle. What's it called?
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Netflix is ready to release a program called Quarterback.
Nope, not interested.
Oh, you're not?
Oh, wow. I thought it was pretty good.
I do too. I really thought it looked good.
The amount of access they got from looking at that trailer is pretty cool.
I also have zero interest in such a thing. Zero.
No.
A trailer, like the boys were saying, has been released. It's going to give fans an unprecedented all-access look into the 2022-23 football season. From the huddles to their home.
The Ocho's in the trailer.
This is about as close as they'll ever get to seeing what it's like to be a quarterback in this league.
I dedicate my life to football.
I love to compete. I love the relationships that come with that. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Everybody sees the game days, but they don't see the day-to-day grind.
Every season's a roller coaster. If ever I do go out of my shell, it seems to become a thing.
Let's go out there and find a way to drag our ass across the finish line.
Oh, shut it. Who's that shouting at us? So here are the quarterbacks that will be featured on the program. Atlanta Falcons quarterback Marcus Mariota. Reigning Super Bowl champion and MVP, and my God, am I tired of him, Patrick Mahomes. I'm speaking of overexposure. Good Lord. Between he and that Travis Kelce knob, I've just had enough. And our own Captain Death Rock's Kirk Cousins.
Well, I was a little nervous, right? I mean, they followed us through last season, captured a lot of content, we're mic'd up for every game. The hope was that people could get maybe a little bit more of an inside look at what it's like. That was the hope. Could only give them so much access, and there were times where it's like, I'd love to have you in this or that meeting, and it would paint a better picture of what it's like, but just we're not going to let you in.
I like the voice crack at the end.
That guy's such a dork.
I know that makes it better, doesn't it?
Players were mic'd up for what do you say?
Just we're not going to let you in.
He's an adult.
Yeah. He's a grown man.
The players are mic'd up for every game, and you get to see what they do in their homes. Okay, it says here that Netflix, who's putting this program on, they lucked out with the quarterbacks that they chose for the first season of this series. They say Patrick Mahomes, he wins the Super Bowl, he wins the MVP. They also say Marcus Mariota turned out to be interesting, and I wasn't aware of this. It says here he basically abandoned his Falcons teammates in the middle of the season. I don't know what that means, and I got to be honest, I don't care. But you're not interested, Randy, that's fine, because neither am I. But
I just don't have any interest in it.
You don't have to explain yourself. This is the sole reason why I brought it up. I can't remember who wrote this article, but it's beautiful. So they say, Mahomes, interesting. He was a champion. Mariota, interesting, because he kind of flopped. Then, of course, there's Kirk Cousins, they say, who is the equivalent of putting low-fat mayo on a piece of white bread and then throwing it at a wall where you then sit in a folding chair and watch it until it unsticks and finally hits the floor.
That's pretty good.
Jesus.
And ain't that the truth?
Yeah. I hope there's very little of the Mahomes family in there. By that, I mean his brother and wife.
When I was doing the trailer, I saw some of his wife in it.
You were doing the trailer?
Like
editing it?
Cutting the trailer up and stuff like that.
Oh, editing the audio for the trailer is what you mean by doing. Why does everyone have a problem with Mahomes' brother?
Patrick Mahomes? Do a Google search.
I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, not
kidding.
Not Patrick Mahomes.
Jack Wagon.
I don't remember his name.
Jackie.
Yeah, you're close to something.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I've heard the stories. July 12th, if you want to watch this. By the way, you
right
played
in the middle of football season.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect timing.
Jackson Mahomes.
Jackie Jackson. You played in your intro, Josh, you played audio of Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson, and he used the old Marshawn Lynch joke when he was talking to the media the other day. Is this the liquor talking, or am I on to something? Was it Anthony Richardson, this guy, when he was drafted, was it his younger brother who the whole world took notice of because his younger brother was about 13 years old, but when they interviewed his younger brother, he had the speaking voice of friggin' Sam Elliott?
Yes.
Was that? Do you still have that audio around? Because it's fascinating.
Yeah, I can find that.
Okay. They talked to Anthony Richardson when he was drafted. They talked to his younger brother who was 13 or 14.
Right.
And the man had more bass in his voice than all of us combined.
He seems like a neat guy, Richardson. He seems like he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, he does. The kid had more bass in his. Okay, I thought that was the same guy. And one more NFL note. A lot of these, not a lot, I should say, few players are getting in trouble for gambling. Players have been suspended. Players have been investigated. But here's the icing on that cake, I guess. Someone named Mike Florio, who covers pro football.
He's an insider.
Okay. He said that one NFL player lost $8 million from gambling in the year 2022.
Oh my gosh.
God. You got to make some bad bets.
$8 million.
It's probably table games. It's probably not bets.
Oh, sure. I was thinking sports gambling. But table games, that makes a lot more sense.
Oh, all I was thinking was sports gambling as well.
Yeah, me too, actually.
I'll venture to guess it's probably sitting at a blackjack table.
I thought the whole story was because... Okay, gotcha.
All right.
All right, I got Anthony Richardson's, again, 13-year-old brother being interviewed here.
Little brother over there. What do you think of this? This is pretty special.
This is very special to me. I mean, especially because I look up to him as much, and I've always wanted to be like him.
You're sort of wearing similar outfits, right? Enjoy every minute. This one's checking himself out in the monitor over here. You look good?
I'm over here just trying to face myself.
Do you look good?
I think I look good.
Balls Mahoney.
When Barry White.
Josh, that's like when manhood is a train and he was standing on the effing tracks.
Yeah.
And it blasted him
He's
over.
the engineer.
That's great. Good for him. Good for him.
It doesn't seem to me like
I love Barry White.
Don't be listening to too much of this when you're on your road trip, Randy. You and the wife will be pulling over every 45 minutes to get it done.
Ashley's probably never heard of this big guy before, right?
Barry White?
Barry White.
She's missing this morning. She's not
there
feeling well.
again?
Yeah.
Oh, she showed up. She did her best, but yeah, she's not feeling.
She's in a lot of pain.
She went with 19 affected days since New Year. We'll get back to that some other time. This player was not identified, the player who supposedly lost $8 million from gambling in 2022. Charles Barkley once said that gambling is not a problem if you can afford it.
It's true.
I mean, I know these days, speaking of quarterbacks, we were talking about quarterbacks the other day. Like Captain Death Rocks, what's he making a year? I have no idea. He's like $30 million.
Yeah, $30 million.
Okay. But, so there are some filthy, disgustingly rich NFL players. But how many of them can afford to lose $8 million?
Man,
in 1 year.
In 1 year. Probably a pretty small percentage of them.
I would say a very small percentage.
Well, the Twins swept their neat little series with the Milwaukee Brewers. They did.
Yeah. What was their... I was looking this morning and I didn't find it. What was their attendance for the 2 days? It sucks that they played during the middle of the week.
Right. I can tell you this much. Game 1, the game that Wapple walked out on, and missed Correa's one of the most dramatic moments in Target Field history. Tuesday night's game was a near sellout, wasn't it, Wapple?
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. Even up in the third deck, it was just packed.
Even in cheap seats. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great crowd. I don't know about yesterday with all the smoke and everything. Maybe some folks stayed.
I found it here. 32,000.
Oh, God. That was
wow.
I think that's for yesterday.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just too bad that the schedule maker didn't do them any favors by not allowing this series to be on the weekend, but that's okay.
What the hell's going on? So now the Twins have won 4 of 5.
And Bailey Ober again yesterday was very rock solid. I mean, 5 innings, or 6 innings rather. A quality start, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Gave up a couple of homers, but solo shots. You talked the other day about Maeda being ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where they decide to fit everybody and who they're going to send down if they call Maeda up. So you think Varland is that guy? We'll see.
I think that would make sense. I mean, he's the youngest and least experienced on the team, and probably out of all the starters has been a little shaky lately.
Yeah, and from the
just
bullpen,
a little bit. Nothing terrible about Louis Varland, just a little shaky lately.
Yeah.
So, we'll see where Kente fits in. And they did something a little differently with the end of the ball game yesterday, having Duran set up Griffin Jacks. Did I get why did I call him Griffin? Is it Griffin Jacks? All of a sudden, I thought I had the wrong.
It is.
That's a little different. I don't know exactly why, but they had Duran set up Jacks for the save.
Maybe there was a matchup that in the 8th inning, Rocco liked better than what he saw in the 9th. I don't know.
Sure. They had a big 4th inning at the plate. Carlos Correa drove in a couple runs with a triple.
He's hitting the ball better.
So the word is, when they were swept by Tampa Bay, whatever that was, a week ago or so, they had a impromptu, full-on team meeting. Everybody, coaches, everybody.
Okay.
And they kind of aired out this or that, and since then they've scored 30 runs in the last 5 games.
Well, what do you think they aired out? I'm always curious as what you think gets discussed in sometimes a players-only meeting or a team meeting. Are they yelling at each other because they're not patient enough at the plate? Are they?
I would imagine
people aren't working hard enough in pregame. They're not taking enough bat. What do you think that they're?
Good question. Good question. Maybe Dick Bramer would have more insight on what was discussed. To me, I don't think their play up until the Tampa series, I don't think it made for a shouting match or screaming and yelling back and forth. I would imagine it was just a conversation about,
I would suggest that maybe one of the things they talked about was patience at the plate. Too many strikeouts during that stretch last week. Only 7 yesterday. And, whoever you're facing as a pitcher has a lot to do with that too. But if you're up there, maybe kind of trying a little too hard to make some things happen, that's when things never really happen, right? Especially baseball. Baseball is a game about failure. So you've got to be able to fail and not be okay with it, but just realize that it's going to happen. It's part of the game, and not let it get into your psyche to the point where you can't.
Sure,
you can't go out there and function.
Radio and baseball, just a big, just a parade of failure. I have no idea, Randy. You're probably right. Strikeouts must have come up in this team meeting.
Just patience, I think, at the plate.
Yeah, I just knowing Rocco's demeanor, I doubt it was any kind of a screaming and shouting thing. I bet it was just an open conversation about this and that. By the way, speaking of Rocco, he says Byron Buxton should be back in a day or two. The prognosis isn't nearly as positive for Jorge Polanco. It sounds like that's a long time coming.
Oh, that's not good.
That sucks. They're going to start a series tonight at home against Detroit.
Okay. Well, it's the top 2 teams in the division, or maybe Cleveland has slipped into second place.
I think they are.
Yeah. The Tigers actually have slipped into 4th place.
Oh, wow.
Been so bad lately.
By the way, Eastbound at Sundown Jesus says that Rocco has made a statement that they're going to use a 6-man rotation for a little while because they have no days off for a couple of weeks.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why Maeda. So that means someone from the bullpen would be sent down. I don't know who that might be, but.
By the way, I almost forgot this. Did you guys see what happened to the Twins catcher Christian Vasquez yesterday?
He caught one.
Randy?
If you missed it, you can see it on 93x.com.
I did not. I'll go on there.
He got hit right in the seeds.
Oh, boy.
By a foul ball. He's behind the plate.
He's got a cup on, though, right?
Oh, God, I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think you get to be insane to be a catcher and not wear a cup. I know there are infielders who don't do it, and I don't understand that either. But a little foul tip at the plate hits him right in the bag. And he did his best to walk it off. He kind of jogged it off, Cubby.
Yeah, he did.
And he
kind of ran up the first baseline there, and I was impressed he was able to stand up.
I'd like to be able to see it, but it's telling me that it's not allowing me to open it. So.
Oh, you got to pay the subscription.
That's about as square as it gets, the way that baseball hit Vasquez. Yeah. That got all 3 of the key pieces.
The Frank and the beans?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I got everything.
I like how someone put right in the Twins.
Yeah, that's good. Got him in the Twins.
That's good.
Now, staying with baseball, I think this is a first. Well, I shouldn't say that. I know this is a first for me. Maybe it's a first in the history of the game of baseball. Washington Nationals manager Dave Martinez was so pissed after last night's loss to the Astros. He was so pissed about a missed call by the umpires. He printed off a picture that proved he was right about a disputed call and brought it to the press conference and showed it to the media.
There it is, right there. Take a good look at it. Is that on the line? I don't think so. I'm over this play. Seriously. They need to fix the rule. If this is what the umpires see, that he's running down the line, tired of it. Tired of it. Fix it. We lost the game, and he had nothing to say about it because he can't make the right call. Brutal. Brutal.
Probably going to get fined big time for that.
Probably, yeah.
But he was furious, and it was all about an Astros player running inside the baseline. He was running on the grass. He was outside the baseline. The umpires didn't call it. It caused the Nationals to lose the game. He prints off a friggin' photo from his computer and brings it to the friggin' press conference. That's great. And if you look at the picture, the guy was clearly running out of the baseline.
Yeah, he was right.
How does the home plate umpire miss that?
Well, if you kind of look at it, he wasn't really on the line. He was still kind of where the umpire sits, right behind the plate. So he really didn't have a good angle.
The umpire didn't have a... Well, get your ass up and...
Exactly.
I think that's his argument.
Yeah. Umpire, get off your ass and do your job. By the way, on this day back in 1976, the Houston Astrodome had its first and only rained-out game. And it wasn't what you might think. I mean, who would have thought that the old Metrodome would have a snowed-out game? But the roof, so you're probably picturing a roof collapse. That's not what happened here in 76. It rained like a cow pissing on a flat rock in Houston. The streets were too hard. The streets were flooded. It made it too hard for the players and umpires to get to the game. Even though the field was bone dry, no one could get to the game, so they had to call a rain out. That reminds me of one of my favorite NHL stories. Playing beer league all the years that I did, 1,000 points and everything. There was a referee that called our games. By the name of Ron Foyt. And Ron, we became familiar with Ron over the years playing beer league and having him be the official for many, many years. He is the only NHL official in the history of the game to ever referee a game by himself. You can look it up, Summers, if you like. It was sometime in the early 80s. I want to say it was Hartford and Boston. And I want to say that the game was in Hartford. And the reason that Ron was the only referee for this game, it was just him, no linesman, just one referee, was because it snowed so badly in Connecticut that night, none of the other officials could make it to the rink, but Ron made it, and they made him ref the damn thing all by himself. And it was kind of cool knowing we had this historic referee refereeing our beer league games. A lot of pressure on the guy that night, I would imagine.
I would think so.
So Oakland Athletics fans are trying these reverse boycotts to be noticed and try to get their owner or whoever to call off this impending deal with Las Vegas, right?
It's too late.
They've tried a couple of these, a reverse boycott. Let's try to put as many people in the ballpark for this athletics game.
The owner for the A's is probably laughing his butt off about that. Is that what it took?
Yeah, I don't know.
People to finally show up.
So it hasn't really worked. They've tried it a couple times. 4,000 people show. What day is it today? Thursday? So 2 nights ago, home game against the Rays. It worked. They put 27,000 people in the ballpark for this reverse boycott.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. It's heartbreaking to watch this thing happen. It really is. Because these people...
But let's be honest.
Likely no chance it's going
to... The A's had to have a new stadium in order to stay in Oakland.
Right.
There's just no other way that they could continue to play in the Coliseum. It's just not a baseball park. It never was built for baseball. It was built for football.
Right, but is that the fans' fault?
No, it's not the fans' fault, but...
They feel ripped off.
Sure. But, again, it's not like 40,000 fans showed up every day to watch the Oakland A's play,
No.
and they all feel ripped off.
No, they've been struggling
you're talking about a core of maybe 3,000-4,000 fans who show up every game.
Well, here's the deal.
So
on Tuesday night, there was some great video and audio going around. They did put 27,000 butts in seats. During the fifth inning, the fans pulled off a pre-planned chant of "Sell the team" that was so loud, the A's pitcher, who was on the bump at the time, thought that his earpiece, what do they call that system now? His
pitch comm.
They thought that his pitch comm had broke. People became. We
heard the crowd go silent and now getting very loud at the Coliseum. Hogan can't hear with the pitch comm because of the crowd, and now time has called. Things have gotten loud here, and this is certainly a new experience in 2023 at the Coliseum.
I feel bad for those folks.
I think Oakland A's fans back in the day used to chant something similar when Charlie Finley owned the team, because people hated Charlie Finley so much as the owner of the Oakland A's. So it's not uncommon to hear that kind of thing being said towards the Oakland A's management. So,
by the way, in that game Tuesday night, the Athletics beat Tampa Bay. So I think they'd won did they win last night?
I don't think so. Okay, they won like 6 or 7 in a row.
Yeah, they got a better record than Kansas City now.
Yeah,
they do.
They lost last night, but they won the two nights before.
Yeah,
they won 7
and
of
then
the
they
last
swept
10.
the Brewers too.
They'd won 6 or 7 in a row. Good for them. I feel bad. I feel bad for the. I mean, after the Tuesday night game, the reverse boycott game, when the game was over, a lot of Athletics fans did throw garbage onto the field.
That's not helping anything. No. You're mad at the owner, not the cleaning staff.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be throwing stuff on the field. I know it's wrong, but I'd be pick Wapple up by his belt loop and throw him on the field.
Oh, I bet you could get some distance.
Here, you can have my Muppet.
Just like a lawn dart.
Yeah, you're aerodynamic.
I'd lawn dart your Muppet carcass out onto the field. Just pop, you land, your face gets all scraped up on the...
That'd be cool if they turned it into like a major league story, and if the A's make the playoffs, they don't have to go.
Oh, yeah, like the movie?
Like the movie. That'd be sweet.
Major league, semi-pro, didn't they have the same scenario? Yeah.
Much.
That would be exciting.
Yeah, you'd have something to watch. That'd be great.
Now, Pine City Busch Light Jesus wants to talk more about wearing a cup, because we talked about Christian Vasquez of the Twins getting hit in the dong behind home plate. God help us. I pray that he was wearing a cup. He must be, even though a lot of athletes don't these days. A lot don't. Pine City Busch Light Jesus is simply asking me, did I wear a cup playing beer league softball or hockey? Absolutely. Absolutely. I never, ever, throughout youth, adult, any kind of hockey or softball, I never went without a cup. That's what crazy people do.
Yeah.
Why? But Pine City Busch Light Jesus, did you not wear a cup?
I don't think anybody in my high school football team did.
Oh, no. We never wore cups in football.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think if you took a poll of players today, many of them likely do not.
I wasn't aware of that. I always put on a cup for football. All right, here we go. Hey, get back to me, Pine City Busch Light Jesus. Why do you ask about my genitalia? And the lack of the protection or the lack of protection thereabouts.
It's kind of cool talking about you using protection on your genitalia.
It's weird, isn't it?
You're so against it.
That is weird. You don't often hear me talk about stuff like that. Matthew Tkachuk, his club just got done losing the Stanley Cup final to Las Vegas in 5 games. And you know he was missing from Game 5 because of an injury that he suffered in Game 3. I'm throwing a lot of numbers here at you. Apologize for that. Story is that he played in Game 4 with a broken sternum.
Oh, boy. That's got to hurt.
And these guys are supposedly tough. He played 17 minutes of ice time during Game 4, all while carrying around a broken sternum. He couldn't dress himself for Game 4. Someone else had to help put him in his by God gear. Someone had to tie his skates for him. Now, this is what I found interesting about this. Usually, hockey fans just openly masturbate to stories like this. Mm-hmm. They love to pull that card loose. about how, well, a baseball player would have gone home to his mother where a hockey player would have. I was surprised by the reactions on Twitter. The reactions on Twitter were, I cannot emphasize how stupid that is. Another individual said, this isn't a hockey men are so big and tough rah, rah, rah moment. It's just incredibly stupid and the team doctors are incompetent. Another person tweeted, at some point, someone is going to die because they deem it unacceptable to miss a game. People weren't pulling out their gear and touching themselves over this. Interesting to me.
Probably very logical people making very logical statements. You wouldn't let a high school kid do that, right? You likely wouldn't let a college kid do that.
You know, broken sternum, I imagine if that cuts loose on you, that could, damage your heart or something like that. Damn, I mean, I want a guy on my club that's willing to give her, willing to let her buck and give it all, but
it's got to be a point.
There's some exceptions.
Where is this? Everyone's texting in about whether they did or did not wear a cup. Oh, Zelda Master Jesus says this to me. I'm surprised you even needed a cup with all the thick growth down there.
Yeah.
What the hell? I just took care of that a couple days ago.
A couple other people are wondering about pickleball and wearing a cup.
Oh, no.
Well, I will say this. So I've played pickleball 5 or 6 times, and each time somebody has taken a shot to the nuts. Yeah.
I hit Dr. P right in his hog.
Yeah, you did.
With a line shot. Yeah. Not pickleball or silly things like that, but certainly football, softball, how do you call it, hockey? Laying pipe Jesus says that cups are for sissies. 30 years of softball, I never wore one, says laying pipe Jesus. Never. I'm waiting for Pine City Busch Light Jesus. Oh, okay. He was the one who originally asked me if I wore a cup for softball or hockey, and much like the joke that Josh just made, he got back to me. He wanted to know about whether I protected my genitalia because I never protected it in the bedroom. No. Yeah, fair enough. Did you hear the cute line from Philip Kessel, Randy Shaver, after he won the Stanley Cup for the 3rd time in his career?
I did not.
Little older guy now, and the reporters were asking him about the party after the game. Philip Kessel.
How do you plan to celebrate tonight?
Obviously, it's going to be a fun night, and try not to throw up.
Well, all right, good luck with that, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cute.
Try not to throw up.
That might be something that crosses your mind while you're on this month-and-a-half-long vacation.
Oh, a couple of sea breezes here and there.
Oh, gosh, Josh, let's don't go there.
You might get into the drink some night.
That's for Vegas only.
You'll end up looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, don't throw up.
Come on, Shave, you got this.
I've had that conversation a few times.
I'm never drinking again.
I've had that conversation, too.
No, don't throw up. Hang on now.
That was post-New Orleans. I had that conversation.
The wife's in the room. I'm ready for round 2, big guy. Right? And you're looking in the mirror.
I'm looking at myself going, I don't even remember round 1.
You say to yourself, play it cool, buddy. This is what we planned for now.
Yeah, that's right.
This is what we've been waiting on.
Man, were you standing next to me in college or what?
All right, before we go here real quick, Patrick Beverly might have finally gone too far now. Pat likes to say stuff, and I love Pat that he likes to say stuff. I love Patrick. I want him back on this Timberwolves club so badly. By God, I can taste it. He has a Pat. Have you looked at the Pat Bev podcast?
Sure, we pull a lot of clips from there.
He's always running his yap. And again, I want to make it clear that I love him for that. He had Karl Anthony Towns on the podcast, and he said he thinks Towns is the best center in the NBA. He's better than Jokic.
No. Karl Anthony Towns, are you the best shooting big man of all time?
Yes. You don't got to finish the rest of the question. What's the next one?
I have my personal intake of who I think the best 5-man is. You played against Embiid, you played against Joker. Like, who you think the best big man is, right? And I go, y'all not going to like my answer. Cat, my man, when it comes to like offensively gifted players, I say, man, Trev, it's 2 people, bro. It's Cat and it's James Harden. And I think I got Cat 1.
Okay, that's a little different. The story says he's
talking about shooting, though.
Well, no. Specifically, the story says, Patrick thinks Karl is better than Joel Embiid and better than Nikola Jokic as a 5, as a center.
No.
But what Patrick said there was, when it comes to being offensively gifted,
exactly,
he ranks him above all along. He says he and James Harden are. That's totally different.
Right.
So people shouldn't be up Pat's ass about this. He didn't say he was better. He just said offensively gifted.
Yeah, that's a difference. And I would say, comparing Cat and Embiid as shooters, I would definitely say Cat's a better shooter.
Oh, yeah.
I would argue the Jokic and Cat are pretty similar, but Jokic does, as we all know, so many other things that make him special that just is not part of Cat's game.
Yeah. Pat Bev, one of a kind, man. All right, Randy.
Well, just a quick little deal.
Yeah.
I know you don't like golf, but the U.S. Open
I
starts
don't.
today.
Well, have a good vacation. We will talk to you.
This is another major, and it's going to be a fun 4 days. And they tee off this morning at Los Angeles Country Club. So.
All right. I'm kidding. I'll be watching
all
every
the best
minute.
in the world are playing, so it should be fun.
I'll be all over the U.S. Opens. I will. I promise you. Randy, when we talk to you tomorrow, you'll be in South Dakota. So what?
Yep.
Yeah. I think you said nope. You will be in South Dakota.
I will.
Okay. We look forward to that and act accordingly.
I will.
Thanks very much.
See ya.
Coming up next, another exciting visit with our porn star pal. Fresh off her very first F-A-Fan video shoot, Josh.
I know. I can't wait to hear the details.
Where the two of you were exhausted after the... Jordan Maxx is coming up next on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I hear you. It is 8:28. Here's the damn deal. Online porn actress Jordan Maxx scheduled to be up in here very soon. She's running late. These things happen. So we'll be seeing Jordan shortly. She just hasn't quite made it yet. We'd love to find out how her F-A-Fan video shoot went.
She seemed pretty excited about it last Friday.
By God, she did seem excited.
Shoot that thing. What a sweetheart.
Her very first F-A-Fan video shoot was scheduled for last weekend. We'll find out all about it.
I had a couple friends over the weekend text and ask, hey, has Jordan updated you? And I thought, yeah, she was going to text me right after.
They just finished shooting.
I'm sure that's the first thing she's thinking about. I wonder if Josh wants to know what happened.
They're laying there and she FaceTimes you. Hey, Josh, just want to give you an update, bud.
So I look forward to this as well. She had mentioned it's a Minnesotan, the fan that she chose, and he was excited. He has no experience in the business, she said, no aspirations to go into the porn industry. Just wanted to try this and see how it goes.
And she had met with him, too, so it's not like she just drew a name out of a hat or it was like so she vetted the guy and it seemed like they had hit it off. So, yeah, it'll be fun to hear what she thinks.
This guy's a hero of mine. Let me ask you guys something. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you think we would each perform set up to have sexual intercourse with our favorite porn actress?
It'd be horrendous.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
It'd be rough.
I would either...
I swear this never happens.
Yeah, well, I would either be like that, that quick, or be able to last forever like my first time, losing my virginity because the nerves wouldn't allow biology to take its course. And so I got a reputation. I got quite the reputation as a stud after my first time. But it wasn't that. It was just I was so scared and in my head and nervous about what was going on. Nothing worked. My anatomy just gave up.
It'd be so boring. Yep, still in the same position.
Yeah.
Yep, still in that same position.
Oh, they'd change that pretty quickly, Wapple. They'd end up tossing you around like a son of a bitch.
They would take the lead for sure. They'd have to.
So our porn star guest, Jordan, she's running a little late, and Vacation Jesus texts in and wants to know, or he says, boy, I hope Jordan didn't get stuck in a dryer. Thanks to you guys, I understand the punchline.
Oh, that's good.
All of these porn actresses keep getting stuck in dryers.
Yeah, maybe
people were telling me, so we were talking about things they get stuck in, appliances, right? Like a dryer, a washer. Somebody said they oftentimes get stuck under couches.
Under couches and beds.
Beds, okay. And also, not dining room tables, coffee tables.
Yeah. Yep, seen that.
It's just unfortunate how often that happens.
That's hilarious.
That's a funny line. It's a hell of a deal. A hell of a deal. Yeah, I don't know. I like to believe maybe when I was a younger guy
that you do a good job.
Maybe
or?
I could have been serviceable is the word that I'll use in an F-a-fan scenario. But I don't know.
I definitely couldn't, under the pressure of lights and cameras and stuff like that, like this guy.
Well, see,
had to deal with.
I got to be honest, Cubby, I kind of like a crowd. You got the camera. I kind of like having a crowd. But I don't effing know. I mean, think back to like when I was 22, 3. Who was my favorite porn actress when I was that age? Well, Nina Hartley will always be one of my favorites, but like early 90s, God, there was a gal, I can't think of her name.
Well, I'd imagine if you're doing something like this, you're stopping several times, right? To get different camera angles and things like that. Like, okay, we got to move to this position.
At least I believe that's something Jordan can confirm. I believe that's how it operates. They got to switch up. Maybe someone needs some water. Because we want water.
We do want water.
I remembered her now. When I was in my early 20s, there was a porn actress by the name of Deidre Holland. Now, let me be very clear. I was in love with a great deal of these porn. But if there's one that stands out from when I was in my 20s, Deidre Holland.
Anything in particular?
She was just so pretty. And a petite.
Like, would you call like millfish or
No, not so much millfish. She was young looking. She was just very fit. Maybe some of you older cats remember her. Jordan Maxx has just walked into the building. Thanks for hustling in here, Jordan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry for the hassle.
Good morning. No, not at all.
Running a little late, are you?
Yeah, between traffic and construction and leftover smog or whatever from yesterday. What do you want to call it? You know how bad it was.
It was awful.
Just driving conditions this morning weren't great.
Do you need a minute just to collect yourself? Because, take a breath.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, you just ran right in.
Is it smoky again outside like it was yesterday?
A little bit, not as bad.
Okay.
But there's definitely a haze.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit about stuck porn, and someone made a joke about, and maybe that's why you were late, you got stuck in a dryer.
Yeah.
And What It Do Jesus said he saw a scenario where a girl got her hand stuck in an empty bowl on a table. They've given up.
Absolutely.
Because I was wondering too, like, wait a minute, because I haven't seen it. You guys explain this to me. I'm like, how do they get stuck in a dryer? And you said that's pretty much the point.
Yeah.
They're not stuck. That's
it's
funny.
So ridiculous.
We can't wait to find out, Jordan Maxx, after our conversation with you last week or the week before, I can't recall. We cannot wait to find out all about your very first F-a-fan video shoot that you were telling us about. Did it end up happening, and how did it go?
It actually didn't, unfortunately. However, we did reschedule. We did have a little bit of a problem. So there's like a testing, STI testing that we do, and the
male
the
counterpart?
Lab, no,
I'm sorry.
It was actually my fault. Well, not my fault, but the lab, because we have to go to a certain lab to get our tests done, because then they enter our information into a database.
Okay.
So it's like accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure that we're all good to go, not spreading anything, just keeping it,
Sure.
good.
Keeping it clean.
Exactly. So, but the test, my test results didn't come back in time.
Okay.
There was a little bit of a problem with FedEx or
Better
whoever
safe
shipping,
than
but
sorry type of
absolutely-
a situation.
Absolutely better safe than sorry.
So did
So
you
who
change?
does it, who the test results? Was it the gentleman the fan that wanted to see that, or you actually have to register it somewhere?
No, I require it.
You require
I
it.
require it.
Okay.
You and anyone you're going to work with has to take a test and get the results in time for you to shoot a video.
Absolutely.
So did you
Safety
change?
is number one.
Yeah. So you couldn't do the F a fan. Did you change gears on the fly and like do maybe F an enemy or something like that?
And do you
That
know
would've
your
been
enemy?
great. I'm sorry, what did you say?
You had mentioned off air, I think it was. I can't remember. But last time you were here, you mentioned you would be open to a woman
Absolutely.
being the next F fan contestant.
Yes.
And we're hoping we can announce that here. We got to get on that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
When are you rescheduled?
We haven't set it up yet, but
Okay.
we're going to.
So we had some questions. Nick had asked if any of us could do something like this with our favorite porn star. And then we kind of went into some of the logistics, things you'd have to experience that are different than your normal life.
I still say when I was young, I might have had a shot, Cubby.
I bet you could still pull it off.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you're a stud.
Well,
I'd love to watch you have sex with someone.
oh my God.
And the sooner the better. So you have cameras, you've got lights. Do you stop to change camera angles? Like, okay, now let's get the GoPro angle on this. And I mean, is there a lot of stopping in something like this?
Yeah, there's a lot of stopping and starting.
Is that good or bad?
It depends. Sometimes a break is good. Sometimes you're going full force. You need a little breather, a little water break.
Are there, like when you watch a football game, like the trainer will run out and like squirt water into the player's mouth. Does that happen on the set of a porn set?
It actually has.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was doing my boy girl scene. It got hectic.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people in the room. It got really warm.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah. So the director came over and just was pouring water on us, trying to get it in our mouth. I don't know. But yeah, so it was a big mess. It was a fun mess. I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm. How much comedy is on set?
So much. Sex is just, it's weird. It can be weird. You have to laugh at it.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good sense of humor to work with it.
Any decent stories you can think of? Maybe some of the bloopers or.
Oh my gosh. One time on set, so a lot of times our sets are rented houses.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, actual like sets in warehouses that we go to, but a lot of time they're actual rented houses where people live, and those houses have pools or landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
So one time, it was my most recent scene for Reality Kings. We were all getting set up to go, and we were in the middle of a scene, and we see just two guys like just looky-loos looking through the window. And we just kind of all panic, like, what's going on? It turns out they were the pool boys. They were there to clean the pool that day. The owners of the house did not let them know not to come.
And that would never work in a porno, right? Getting these pool guys involved.
I mean, that would.
There's no scenario you can draw up there,
Yeah,
Judge.
absolutely not. No, but yeah. So that was really.
That's effing hilarious.
Oh my gosh,
Just,
we were
their faces pressed up against the window.
They just had no idea what was going on. They're like, we're just here to clean the pool. I don't know what you guys are doing. Like, they're like,
thinking,
where's the owner of the house? Or
what a neighborhood.
That's funny. Now, I'm going to do my best to distance this from a sexual conversation, but the pressing the face up. The kids in the neighborhood, when they come over to see if my son wants to play, after they ring the doorbell, their faces are smushed, like staring in, trying to figure out, where my son is. We've got so many face prints. It's ridiculous.
Oh.
That is
how old?
hilarious.
Do you know how old the kids were? They kids or were they adults?
No, they were adults.
Okay.
They were definitely
God
adults.
help us.
Yeah, no,
Well, I was worried it was like a 16-year-old
Oh,
or
yeah,
some
no,
job
pool
or
boys.
something.
Sorry, I just
okay.
called them pool
Yeah,
boys.
no,
But
I
no,
get
they
you.
were adults.
Okay.
Bass Slayer Jesus said he had a part in a porn one time before.
Awesome.
He was the guy that went to work and left his wife at home. And then the pool guys came over, and one thing led to another.
The role he was born to play.
I have a buddy of mine. He recently had an anniversary, and he and his wife went to hotel, right? They had a fancy night, and they got amorous together, Jordan.
Love it.
And
Good for them.
she tried something different, and they had never done it. They've been together for a very long time. They hadn't done this thing before. And my friend is very prolific porn watcher, which she's not aware of.
Oh.
Okay?
She is not aware of that.
She's not aware of it. Okay.
I think she knows that he's watched it, and things like that. In fact, she knows he's watched, but not as much as he does. And so there's one particular act that he loves to watch. That's what happened. And then he said, "Oh, man, yeah, this is my favorite." And she stopped and was like, "Well, what do you mean your favorite? This is the first time we've ever done it." He's like, "Oh, I mean, this is going to be my new favorite."
Good save.
And he's asking me, "Do you think she bought it?" He's a little nervous about it afterwards.
So he's married to this woman.
Yeah, and they've been married for a very long time.
And
Oh, and she was like, let's spice it up.
Yeah.
Even after all these years, she doesn't know that he likes to watch pornography?
Well, like I said, I think she's aware that he has. I don't know that she's really thought too much about how much and the stuff that he's into.
God dang. Well,
sometimes he tells me some of this stuff, and I just have to turn my headset down or whatever.
He likes some pretty outrageous stuff.
Oh, some wild things.
All right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I hope we're still friends after I brought this up, in case he's listening.
One of my favorite stories ever on that topic of maybe one half of a couple isn't aware that the other is into porn or doesn't like that the other is into porn. Right, okay. Either one, I guess. In this situation, I forgot who told us this story, Josh. Maybe you can remember. Dude said his wife was well aware of the fact that her husband liked to watch porno movies. Wasn't one of these judgy types that calls it cheating or any of that psychosis type behavior. It's not cheating, but anyway. His wife was aware of the fact that he liked to watch porn on his computer. But he usually tried to, keep her away from it. He wasn't one of these guys like, "Hey, honey, look what I'm doing," right? So he's sitting in front of his computer doing what comes naturally while watching a porno. And his wife walked in right as the husband was finishing, and it just so he was watching just a straight up guy-girl porn, but right when the wife walks in, the porn he was watching, all there was video of the man, the actor, finishing. Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
So she assumed that he was just watching another man masturbate.
Oh.
And she said, "What in the living?" And he said, "No, there's a woman in there. Just hang out here for a few seconds."
1 minute, yeah.
Right. I love that moment.
A friend of mine, his now ex-wife, caught him, and that's not, I don't think, what ended the marriage, but he did have to sleep on the couch for about 2 weeks. She cried. She cried when she caught him.
How can that be?
Oh, man.
And, I mean, he had said, we were in a really long dry spell. I had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
Jesus Christ.
Anybody have something like that?
A way long time ago, I had a girlfriend, and she said, she's like, "Well, you don't watch porn, do you?" And I thought 100% she was just being sarcastic and joking. And I go, "No, of course I do." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah. No, of course, yeah." I mean, we were like 23, 24. It's not like we were young, that young kids. And she just started crying.
She did.
Yeah.
Jeez.
She started like, I'm not good enough for you. You think they're prettier than me.
That's kind of what happened to my buddy.
Mm-hmm. Boy, you dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
I wonder what my wife would think if I started getting into it.
You started become porn guy?
Yeah, I don't think she'd care. Let me text her.
Yeah, find out. I'm curious too.
Ask, yeah.
You go ahead and ask. Look,
Communication is key to a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
It really is.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
There you go. So porn star Jordan Maxx is here in studio with the Half-Assed Morning Show, which is always wonderful. And before we get on out of here, Jordan, I did just bump into an online article on killing the mood right in the middle of getting it smooth on with somebody or another.
Ooh, yeah.
It happens.
Killing the mood. Can you think of killing the mood scenario, personally or professionally, whether it was you or somebody else, where it was difficult or impossible to go on?
I've got a pretty weak stomach.
Yeah.
So, any kind of, I don't know, flatulence can really kill the mood for me.
I'm right there with you.
That's happened to you?
Not me being the one.
No, I mean, you've been.
But, like sometimes, the human body is unpredictable sometimes.
It certainly is.
But, there's just, for me, there's no faster way to kill the mood than just to let it rip in the middle of the session.
I am right there with you. I have a difficult time with that. I try to be as understanding as possible, but that is hard to overcome.
That's
for me.
happened to you as well?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never experienced that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a fantasy of mine. Hopefully it happens.
Josh is over there jealous.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think the two of you may have had more sex than I have.
I understand, and I know it's accidental. God, I pray it's accidental, and I try to be forgiving, but that's tough. I'm not a fart guy, Cubby.
Oh, I know.
I'm not a fart guy.
Especially when it comes to the fairer sex. You'll break up with somebody over that. I never knew that you had that happen.
Oh, yeah, it's happened.
You make it seem like it's happened a few times.
That's because it's happened a few times.
Oh. So I'm picking up on that correctly then. My instincts are correct.
God, you want to hear how the mood was killed for some other people who got involved in this article online? The gal tried to do a sexy crawl up to the guy, and she kneed him in the balls.
Oh, no.
Yeah, injury.
That'll kill a mood for sure.
Dude, listen to this. Oh, how do you know when you're dating a douche or preparing to have sex or currently in the middle of sex with a douche? For whatever reason, the dude started doing one-armed push-ups in the middle of sex.
Oh, my God.
And he fell on his face, and that ruined the mood. Here was a guy. Oh, no, his girlfriend thought it would be kind of cute to give one of his testicles a little bite.
Oh.
Just a little bite.
Sensitive down there.
That's terrible. That hurts.
It doesn't take much pressure to ruin a day.
No teeth, right, Jordan?
Absolutely no teeth ever.
Using your teeth. A guy tried to spank his lady, and instead he missed, and he whacked her on the back of the knee, and she was in a lot of pain. Wapa! They were having sex, and a Cartoon Network show made a stupid joke. They both started laughing and couldn't continue on. They wanted to watch the show.
That's funny.
That's good. That's
sweet. Yeah.
Maybe it was that cartoon show that you like so much, Wapple, with the, what do they call that show? I watched it for 2 minutes, and I liked it, but I never went back to it.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, yes. Oh, what happened now? Oh, no. A gal was giving a dude a lap dance. This was not at a club. She was just throwing that into the mix. How about I give you a lap dance before we make love? And he got so overwhelmed he started hyperventilating. He had a full-blown panic attack. Jesus, criminy.
Wow.
It's supposed to be a relaxing experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of sweet, though.
Do you think so?
After getting him together, I would be like, oh, that's so sweet. You just got so overwhelmed by my beauty that,
yeah, for sure.
You ever dumped a lap dance on a guy personally or professionally, and it looked like maybe he was just going to give way and pass out or something like that?
No, actually, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe someday.
Something to strive for.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Here's a guy who says the lady he was hooking up with started moaning the name Steve, and that is not his name.
Oh, that could kill things.
That killed the mood. Oh, you like this one. A guy was hooking up with a girl. This is his words, not mine. He pulled out his homie. I guess that's his penis.
Oh, that's what he called it.
Okay, I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, his homie.
Thought maybe he had a homie hide in the closet. Hey, my buddy's here.
So he pulls out his dong, and she said, direct quote, well, that's not what I'm used to, but I guess it'll do.
That'll sting.
There, somebody else in the article had mentioned they had chopped up jalapenos, didn't think about it, and then went to some hand play and caused some damage.
Oh.
Now, I've had that happen with just peeing, right, where I forgot that was... I thought that I'd washed my hands enough for it to go away, and that wasn't the case.
You got to get them good.
Very stingy. Oh, absolutely terrible.
Jordan, some people are texting in saying that they're okay with a little bit of teeth.
Yeah, there's a couple people that text in and say they like it.
They want a little bit of teeth.
All right.
But somebody else said, use your teeth, lose your teeth.
Oh.
Whoa. Wait a
That's
minute.
aggressive.
That is aggressive.
Here, I'll tell you somebody you don't want them to use their teeth, and that's me. Look at these friggin' things. I'll hurt you with these.
Yeah, he'll stab somebody with those.
Big old rusty-looking tombstones here. I'll straighten you out with my...
People also saying what kills the mood is getting a phone call in the middle of it, especially if it's from your kid or maybe your mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
One of my best friends lost his virginity to a girl who was on the phone the entire time.
The whole time,
The
huh?
whole time, yeah. She was obviously not too interested in what was happening.
Jordan, you ever had sex while on the phone and you had to make believe like you weren't?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, like it's kind of fun and sexy, I think.
I did that once, and I was quite impressed with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you talking to someone you knew or like calling
was
Comcast service?
Talking to someone I knew. They called, and I must have been expecting an important call, but we kept going.
I was going to say, most people, if you answered the phone call in the middle, it might be a little offended.
Yeah. See, that was kind of hot for me that the gal wasn't offended.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't care. She kind of was interested in the thrill of it all, in the sleaziness of it all, I guess, that I was having a phone. I got a text from a listener. Now listen closely, everybody, so you know that so you don't get the wrong idea. Jordan Maxx fan has texted to ask the question, how are your kitties? With the K.
Yeah, my foster kittens, they're doing great. They're getting bigger every day. They are so much fun. I've been posting photos of them on my social media. I volunteer with a group called the Bitty Kitty Brigade. It's actually Adopt a Shelter Cat Month. So if anybody out there is looking for a kitten, a cat, I recommend checking out Bitty Kitty Brigade. But yeah, the kittens that I have, they're doing great.
How many do you have running around the house?
3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're all from the same litter, so they're,
Sure.
brother, sisters. They are super playful, but they'll be available or eligible for adoption in about 4 to 6 weeks. So if you've seen my pictures, my videos that I post of them, and you just can't get enough,
Yeah.
Take a little kitten home with you. Have a little new friend around your house.
And again, the group is called the Bitty Kitty Club.
The Bitty Kitty Brigade.
Bitty Kitty, I can't say it.
It's a little tough.
You
Yes.
heard it.
It's a great name.
Yeah, we focus on neonatal kittens. So we get them when they're very, very little. We bottle feed them, and then we socialize and kind of raise them until we send them off to their new
Is it
family.
kind of heartbreaking when they end up leaving the house?
Yeah.
It's definitely a mixed bag of emotions, because on one hand, you've spent so much time, you've invested all this energy into raising these little babies.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you meet with the people who are going to adopt them. You got to like vet them, kind of suss them out, make sure that they're okay.
Suss them out.
I don't know.
Make sure they're not shady.
Yes, exactly.
Make sure they have a nice, clean home, and they'll take care of the kid. You're right.
Exactly. So seeing how happy that you make the people who are, adopting the kittens or
Sure.
the cats, like that makes it all worth it to me.
It's adorable, Jordan.
Thank you.
I've become a cat guy.
Have you?
I never thought I would become a cat guy, but a few years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I got a cat, and I'm full blown into the scene.
He's a lot more fancy than he ever was.
I am.
before.
I'm more sophisticated.
Very much so. He wears glasses now.
Look at me.
He never wore glasses before.
Speaking of photos and videos, where can folks see you do your regular thing?
All of my links are available on jordanmax.com. That's Max with 2 X's.
Thank you very much for visiting us again,
Thank
Jordan Maxx.
you.
Yes, very nice to see you as always. Hopefully we see you again in person on the Booze Cruise.
Absolutely.
June
I'll do
30th.
everything I can to make it.
That'd be awesome to have you there. Happy 30th to Bailey from Ford Raptor Jesus, and have a good one.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.